Family cultivation. My mobile phone traveled through time. This video is purely for entertainment and does not infringe on copyrights or laws. The rights to the novel and image belong to the original author. We do not claim ownership. Don't like waiting and want to listen to this fanfic in full now? Subscribe to our Patreon, where you'll find the best fanfics. Chapter 126, Killing the Demon General. Roar, roar. At this moment, the Black Wolf Demon General roared, activating his innate magical power. Thunderous sound rolled, and the killing power of sound attacked. Among the demons, the Foundation is the Demon General, the Purple Mansion is the Demon Monarch, the Golden Elixir is the Demon King, and the Yuanying is the Demon Emperor. At this time, it took action. The attack was the innate magical power, Wolf Howl, which could damage the enemy's meridians and even the Danshan. Xuanji activated the true essence to surround his body and protect his flesh. But with the roar, the true essence broke on the spot. The sound waves were impacting the meridians, which broke on the spot, and the Danshan was also broken. Swish. The next moment, the Black Wolf Demon General opened his mouth and spit out a black sword, which turned into black lightning and attacked. One sword to the heart. The Bushanding turned into a stream of light and blocked it in front. Clang clang. With a crisp sound, the metal and iron collided, making a crisp sound. The black sword moved away, bypassed the cauldron, and attacked directly. Xuanji urged his footwork and moved 10 feet away. But at this moment, the Black Wolf Demon King had already rushed over with a ferocious and brutal speed, fast and ruthless. Xuanji was about to circulate his true energy, but his body felt a series of cramps. His broken Danshan and damaged meridians almost made him seriously injured. His strength was only 1/3 of what it was. He wanted to dodge, but it was too late. Kill. At the moment of life and death, Xuanji urged the heavenly fire art. The power of this small magical power was stimulated to the extreme, and the damage to the Danshan became more serious with the stimulation. 80 runes were flashing, condensing on the Lihuo sword, turning into a stream of light, stabbing at the neck of the Black Wolf Demon King. Dang. But at this moment, a shield appeared and blocked the neck. The Lihuo sword stabbed on it, making a crisp sound. The Black Wolf Demon General smiled grimly and stabbed with his claws. Xuanji's body flashed, but he was a beat slower, and his chest was torn apart by the claws, and his flesh and blood were blurred. The Black Wolf Demon General stabbed with his claws again, and his speed was extremely fast. Xuanji urged the Lihuo sword and slashed with it. The claws tore and grabbed the Lihuo sword, and another claw tore. Xuanji coughed and could only retreat. The Lihuo sword slipped out of his hand. Die. The Black Wolf Demon General had a grim look on his face and stabbed his heart with his claws again. Facing this heart-digging claw, Xuanji felt powerless. His heart was empty, like a death row prisoner facing execution, endless powerlessness, and no escape. No, this mentality is not good, otherwise, I will definitely die. Xuanji's mind was alert, and he felt that the Black Wolf Demon General's move had shaken his mind. If he was hit by this move, his heart would be ripped out, and he would definitely die. He couldn't lose this time. This is a life and death test. Xuanji urged his spirit to enter self-hypnosis. All his spirit and energy gathered together, discarded all distractions, and forgot everything. He forgot about this world, this battle, and everything. He even forgot about the life and death enemy in front of him. Then, he forgot about the magical powers he cultivated, the Spring Windward Spirit Technique, the Heavenly Fire Art, the Great Five Element Yin Yang Yuan Magnetic Universe Extinction Divine Sword, and everything else. However, the true essence in his body, as well as the magical powers, all relied on instinct and nature to operate automatically, without any thoughts mixed in. The thoughts disappeared, and the thoughts merged into the world, wandering in all things, and the Great Way coexisted. It was like entering a mysterious and wonderful realm. The Heavenly Fire Art was transforming, and the last rune appeared, and the 9 nines returned to 1. The 81 runes gathered together and condensed on the fingers. The fingers flashed with fire, and the fire condensed and did not disperse. Bang! The finger tapped the wolf claw, and the wolf claw, which was comparable to a 3rd grade spiritual weapon, shattered on the spot. He tapped his finger again, urging the perfect state of Heavenly Fire Art to tap the head of the Black Wolf Demon General. Bang! With a crisp sound, the head of the Black Wolf Demon General shattered. In its pupils, there was astonishment, surprise, and confusion. The body of the Black Wolf Demon General fell to the ground. The surrounding monsters were terrified and fled away in fear, like dogs that had lost their homes. Although there were still more than 700,000 monsters left, they were like a plague, avoiding the human monk from afar. Xuanji stood there like a god of war. It was not until the monsters retreated 10 miles away that Xuanji coughed and coughed up blood. He fell to the ground powerlessly. The two fingers just now exhausted his strength. If at this moment, a key training monster dared to attack him, he would definitely die. But as the Black Wolf Demon General fell, the remaining monsters were all scared and fled in a hurry. The more arrogant they were when they attacked, the more panicked they were when they retreated. At this moment, a cultivator walked down from Changyuan Mountain, and it was Lu Xuanwen. Patriarch, what's wrong? Lu Xuanwen said. Take me back. Lu Xuanji said. His body was seriously injured, and he couldn't walk at all. Lu Xuanwen nodded and carried him back. 10 miles away, some monsters watched this scene, and were in a commotion. Some planned to attack and destroy Changyuan Mountain, but more monsters were afraid that humans were cheating. In the quarrel, more monsters chose to remain silent. Back to Changyuan Mountain, Lu Xuanji went to the cave, felt the injuries on his body, and frowned. The injuries were even more serious than he had imagined. Opening the Bushanding, a stream of Bushan Qi entered the body and began to repair the injuries. The meridians were repairing, and the Danshan was repairing, but the speed was very slow. It would take at least 3 days for the injuries to heal. There was no time. The monsters retreated 10 miles away and could attack at any time. Many times, life cannot afford to gamble because it cannot afford to lose. Take out the body of the Black Wolf Demon General and throw it directly into the Bushanding. It was directly refined, and soon a thick, high-quality Bushan Qi was born. The Bushan Qi entered the body, repairing the Danshan and the meridians. The injuries were recovering little by little. After about an hour, the injuries were all healed. It feels good. At this time, the monsters 10 miles away were still waiting. Suddenly there was a commotion, and a woman in white appeared. She had a graceful body, a ribbon wrapped around her body, 3 tails behind her, and walked barefoot. Meet the White Fox Demon General. Many monsters said in unison, with a flash of admiration in their eyes. That Black Wolf guy's also a waste. The woman in white sneered. Just wait and see me kill the human race's genius. Her figure was changing, and in a few flashes, she had already arrived at the foot of Changyuan Mountain and shouted, "Human race's genius, do you dare to fight?" Chapter 127 Little Brother. On Changyuan Mountain, the Lu family cultivators were all nervous and terrified. Below the mountain, the monsters gathered together, one after another, like a tide. A rough look showed that there were more than 1 million of them. At the foot of the mountain, there was a woman with murderous eyes, wearing a white long skirt, walking barefoot, and coming with murderous intent. "Why don't you dare to fight?" Lu Xuanji agreed, and walked out of the formation in a flash. Many cultivators who wanted to persuade him fell silent. "You are the human race's pride, not bad." The white-clothed woman smiled and said, "I haven't seen such a handsome little brother for a long time. My name is Bailinger, and I'm the pride of the monster race. I want to take 3,000 human race as my concubines." "Little brother is handsome, why don't you be my concubine?" "Haha, I want to take 3,000 stunning beauties as concubines." "Little Linger is worse than you being my concubine," Lu Xuanji said coldly. "Little girl, let's try how strong little brother is, whether he can let me offer myself to him." Bailinger smiled, like an innocent little girl. But with flashing footsteps, he was in front of Lu Xuanji in an instant, and grabbed Lu Xuanji's neck with his right hand. While making the move, he activated his innate magical power, teleportation, which allowed him to move instantly within a kilometer range, with almost no space gap. Swish! Lu Xuanji activated the Lihuo sword, and slashed at his white and tender arm. This sword came to kill without any abnormality, just like a sword slashed by a mortal. But Bailinger quickly dodged to the left with her right hand, avoiding the edge of the Lihuo sword, and her finger hit the back of the sword. A strong force came, shaking her arm. Lu Xuanji took a deep breath, and the Lihuo sword changed, slashing at Beilinger's neck from another direction. The next moment Beilinger disappeared. When she appeared again, she was already behind Lu Xuanji, and her white and tender palm slapped his head. The left hand changed, clenched into a fist, and blasted backwards. Boom boom boom. The palm and fist collided. Beilinger did not move, but Lu Xuanji took 3 steps back, his arms numb. Beilinger looked weak, but she was extremely strong, and her physique was beyond people's expectations. Brother, I like your performance more and more. Beilinger smiled, like a crazy girl, but she didn't hold back when she attacked, punching out one after another, with a simple and bright rhythm, without any extra tricks, but with unparalleled domineering power, suppressing the world with absolute power. Lu Xuanji urged the Lihuo sword. The sword light was flashing, like flames burning, and the temperature around was rising, wherever the sword energy reached. Fast against fast, in the blink of an eye, they had fought for 300 moves. Brother, am I beautiful? Beilinger smiled, revealing a charming smile. This smile was like a blooming flower, as if endless beauty was gathered in one body. One smile can conquer the city, another smile can conquer the country. In the fierce battle, Lu Xuanji saw such a smile, and the hostility in his heart dissipated. He felt very close to Beilinger, as if he had seen his dream lover. Being Beilinger's concubine seems to be not bad. Lu Xuanji thought so, but the next moment he shuddered and sweated all over, as if he had entered the hottest day of summer. Wait a minute, this is on the battlefield, a life and death battle, either me or him, either him or me. Why do I have such a stupid idea? Even if I want to take a concubine, I don't want her, because I think he has body odor. Little brother, we are a natural match. At this moment, Beilinger smiled and approached quickly, but the white ribbon wrapped around him, killing him with one move. He was about to cut off his neck. But the next moment, his soul trembled violently, and his head seemed to be hit by a hammer. Beilinger spit out a mouthful of blood from her mouth. She was no longer charming, but showed a look of horror. The magic power backfired. You actually broke my charm. She is a 3-tailed fox spirit, and has awakened the 3 innate magic powers. Charm is one of his innate magical powers. When he casts charm, he can pull the cultivator into the illusion, indulge in it, and let him be slaughtered. Even if he encounters a determined person, he can still be tied up for a second. 1 second is enough to kill the enemy. However, charm also has a fatal flaw. That is, it is still okay when facing fellow cultivators, but if it faces a Purple Mansion Demon King, or the human Purple Mansion Master, not only can it not be charmed, but the magical power will be backfired. I cast charm, and encountered the backlash of the magical power. Could it be that he is a Purple Mansion Master? It is impossible. If he is a Purple Mansion Master, he would have killed me with one palm. The only explanation is that he is born with a strong soul power, comparable to a Purple Mansion Master. Beilinger thought. Kill. Lu Xuanji shouted, and the Lihuo sword urged the round. Full realm of heavenly fire art burst out, condensed into a line of fire to stab. The magical power backfired. Beilinger's head was splitting, and his breath fluctuated. He was no match at all. She activated teleport, and was about to disappear. But the next moment, a vine appeared on the ground and entangled her feet. Beilinger activated the secret technique and broke the vine. But she missed the opportunity. Swish. A flash of sword light passed by and pierced her heart in an instant. Tick. Tick. Drops of blood fell, and Beilinger smiled and said, "What a cruel little brother." At this moment, Beilinger's body turned into grey mist, and a foxtail appeared on the ground. 1,000 meters away, Beilinger stood there. Her pretty face was a little pale, and she looked pitiful, as if she had been bullied by a scumbag, with only 2 tails behind her. What a cruel little brother. You pierced my heart with a sword, and my heart is still aching now. Beilinger covered her heart, looking like Zishi holding her heart. Indescribably pitiful, indescribably seductive and charming. Even a straight man would be melted, and turned into a warm man. Demon girl, go to hell. Lu Xuanji said, drawing his sword and stabbing. Swish. Beilinger activated teleport and disappeared 1,000 meters away. After a few more flashes, she was already 10 miles away. Only a soft voice came. Little brother, you have such a cruel heart. I'm not your opponent. When I become the Purple Mansion Demon King in 10 years, I will definitely come to capture you and make you my lover. Little brother, remember to wait for me. Looking again, Baelinger was already 30 miles away and could not catch up. Teleport magical power is the supreme secret art of running away. Looking at the figure disappearing in the distance, Xuanji stood in place and said in a voice transmission, "Linger, you don't have the heart of a strong man. If you have the ability, stay and fight again." 30 miles away, Baelinger said in a voice transmission, "Little brother, I'm not as good as you. But why should I compete with you in the same realm? Temporary victory or defeat is nothing. It depends on who goes further." After saying that, he disappeared. Chapter 128 Three-Tailed Fox. Seeing Baelinger disappear, Xuanji wanted to chase her, but he gritted his teeth and gave up. Don't chase a desperate enemy. If he chased her to a deep place, he might be outnumbered and die on the spot. If he encountered several foundation building demon generals, if he encountered the Purple Mansion Demon King, he might be killed. It's a pity that she escaped, Xuanji thought. Most of the demons can only transform into human form after reaching the Purple Mansion. Only a few demons can transform into human form in advance after taking the transformation pill in the foundation building stage. It can be seen that Baelinger has a deep background and is a demon with a background. For the demon fox lineage, the more tails, the greater the potential and the greater the achievement. One more tail means one more innate magical power. According to legend, when a fox demon is born with 9 tails, it is equivalent to mastering the 9 supreme magical powers and has the qualifications to become an immortal. Baelinger is a 3-tailed fox with 3 innate magical powers, namely, Charm, Teleport, and Death Substitute. They are all top-notch magical powers. She is a top-notch genius of the demon clan. If she doesn't die today, she will become a great enemy in the future. Ahem. 100 miles away, Baelinger stopped teleporting. She took out her storage bag, which was pink and embroidered with a white fox. She opened the storage bag, took out a pill, and swallowed it on the spot. As she refined the pill, her pale face became ruddy. 7th Princess, you have fallen a great realm. At this time, an old woman appeared with a strong breath and asked in surprise, "I was killed. Before I died, I activated the Death Substitute magical power, lost a tail, and died in my place." Baelinger said, "That little brother stabbed me in the heart, and it still hurts now." With the Death Substitute magical power, she was spared from death. But the feeling of death, the pain of having her heart shattered, still made Baelinger palpitate. The beast tide was meant to sharpen the descendants of my demon race. Although that human genius defeated the princess, according to the rules of His Majesty the Demon King, I cannot take action. The old woman said, her aura was as strong as a mountain and abyss. She was a Purple Mansion Demon King, and the protector of the 7th princess. The protector was to resist some unexpected disasters. But if they were in the same realm, even if the 7th princess was killed, she would not rescue her. The world of the demon race is more cruel and competitive than the human world. The weak deserve to die. Of course. Baelinger's eyes flashed with anger, and she said, "You can spread the message among the demon clan's geniuses, saying that if there is a demon cultivator of the same generation who can kill the Lu family's genius Xuanji, I'm willing to be his fiancé." 7th princess, don't be so petty. The old woman said, "If a demon clan genius kills Xuanji, are you going to marry him?" Baelinger said, "Did I say it? Did I admit it? It's just a rumor from outsiders. A few rumors from outsiders just want me to take the blame. It's unreasonable." The old woman said, "I understand. The more beautiful a woman is, the more she likes to lie. It's best to lie to lose all the property and even to destroy the family." Soon, some news spread in the vicinity, and the news spread very quickly. After some demon clan geniuses learned about it, they went to Chang'an Mountain one after another to kill their human geniuses and please the 7th princess Baelinger. Boom boom boom. Xianming Mountain, the ancestral land of the Wang family. The mountain protection formation became broken. A monster entered the mountain. The battle continued. The foundation building monks fought with the foundation building monsters, and the human key training monks fought with the lower level monsters. The sword light was flying, and the flames were boiling. With the violent noise, human monks died one after another. The battle lasted less than a moment, and the ground was full of corpses and blood. Then, screams were heard. The monsters began to kill mortals, and began to eat. Here, 300,000 humans have all become blood food for monsters. The Wang family was wiped out. The Wang family once established spiritual veins and set up spiritual mountains here, constantly multiplying descendants, planting spiritual rice, spiritual medicine, spiritual tides, etc., and has a history of 300 years. In this generation, the Wang family has 7 foundation building monks, more than 300 key training monks, and 500,000 mortals. However, at this moment, it suffered a catastrophe. The monster broke through Shanming Mountain. At this moment, a child's cry came from a distance. A monster pounced on it, and the crying stopped. The man in black looked at all this grimly, his face expressionless. Swish. The man in black took action, and began to clear the spoils. This was the 8th human spiritual mountain that had been conquered. Spiritual pills, spiritual medicines, spiritual rice, spiritual tools, etc., as well as various books, etc., were all needed by the demons. The establishment of civilization is not enough just by robbing and killing, but also requires planting and management. In the past, the demons did not understand, but after the establishment of the Demon King Palace, the demon monks began to establish order, civilization, planting and management. Wow. At this time, the cry of a baby was heard again. A demon beast pounced on it, and was about to eat it. The man in black didn't care at first, but suddenly realized something, waved his hand and shot out a stream of silk, and the demon beast flew backwards. General, are you going to eat it? No. She is very useful. This is a little girl of the human race. Her spiritual roots have not grown yet, but it looks like she has at least 2 spiritual roots, and maybe different spiritual roots. The spiritual charm on her body is quite powerful. The man in black waved his hand, held the baby, observed it carefully, and spoke. Human children are usually examined at the age of 6. Because at the age of 6, the spiritual roots in the body are fully developed, and can be tested. As for this 3-month-old baby, the spiritual roots in the body have not yet grown completely, only 1/3 have grown. But the spiritual charm it exudes is extraordinary. If this baby grows up, he may become a foundation building cultivator in the future, or even a great purple mansion demon. Humans like to adopt demon beast cubs and train them into demon pets. Demon pets are traitors of the demon clan, and kill the demon clan without mercy. This general will also adopt a human cub and train it into a human pet, so that this human pet can infiltrate the human race in the future, and become a traitor. The black-clothed general pondered. A prototype plan is brewing. Haha. At this moment, a crow flew over and reported, General, there are rumors outside that the 7th princess was defeated by the human race's genius Xuanji. The princess was furious and swore that, if a fellow demon cultivator killed Xuanji, she would be willing to become his fiancé. Impossible. The 7th princess is a demon race's genius. How could she be defeated by a mere unknown person? The man in black said in disbelief. The 7th princess was not only defeated, but also killed once, and used her tail to die once, and only then escaped by luck. The crow said, this news has spread outside. This is the general's chance. This is my chance. A trace of excitement flashed in the eyes of the man in black. Killing Xuanji. Even if I can't become the 7th princess's husband, I can still win the 7th princess's favor. Without bothering to clean up these, he led the demon guards and headed directly to Changyuan Mountain. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelos. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 129, The Demon Tribe's Prodigy. After hearing the news, the demon clan geniuses within thousands of miles went there one after another. Behind every goddess, there are countless backups. Behind every goddess, there are countless licking dogs. These backups and licking dogs can fight to the death for the goddess. These backups and licking dogs are neither brainless nor stupid. They know clearly that, even if they kill Xuanji, the goddess may not marry him, but they can get the goddess's favor. A woman cannot become a goddess just by being beautiful. At most, she is a vase. Only those with a deep background can be considered a goddess. Kneeling and licking the goddess, seemingly deceived by the beauty, are actually moved by the power behind the goddess. These demon clan geniuses gathered at Changyuan Mountain one after another. They did not attack Changyuan Mountain, but exuded a terrifying aura and came with pressure. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. When more than a dozen demon clan geniuses gathered at the foot of Changyuan Mountain, exuding a terrifying aura, the Lu family on Changyuan Mountain trembled. The fighting power of these demon clan geniuses is above that of ordinary foundation building masters. They are extremely terrifying. One of them is terrifying enough, but now there are more than a dozen of them. This is too much respect for the Lu family. Patriarch, if things are impossible, you can leave first. 6th Aunt Lu Jinxiu said. Patriarch, be prepared for the worst. Several other foundation building elders also advised. Many times, the enemy is too strong, and it is not shameful to choose to run away. As the saying goes, if you keep the green mountains, you will not be afraid of running out of wood. The Lu family has been established for 1,000 years. During this period, they have encountered many powerful enemies, and have revived, after being wiped out many times. They know not to hold on. When it is time to evacuate, they will never hesitate to seize the opportunity to make a comeback. It doesn't matter. The situation has not collapsed yet. Lu Xuanji said, I feel that there is a purple mansion demon at the foot of the mountain. If he takes action, the Lu family will be destroyed, and I will definitely die. But she didn't take action. Obviously, she is worried about something. Just now, the breath of a purple mansion demon was captured in Baidu map. If he had killed the Black Wolf demon general and defeated the three-tailed fox, he would have died without a doubt if this demon had attacked. But this demon did not attack. Obviously he was worried about something. This shows that the situation can still be maintained and has not collapsed to the point of no return. At the foot of Changyuan Mountain, the demon clan geniuses were looking at Changyuan Mountain as if they were looking at prey. This is where the Lu family is. The formation on the mountain is only of the 2nd grade. It only takes me half an hour to break this sacred mountain and wipe out the entire Lu family. At this time, a demon clan genius appeared. He was 1.7 meters tall, with a straight body and delicate skin like a woman. He held a formation plate in his hand. The 5 fingers of his left hand were flashing, calculating something. In the end, the conclusion was that the mountain protection formation in front of him was simply made of paper. Obviously, at this moment, the Lu family lacked a top formation master. As long as a little force was exerted, the formation could be broken, and the Lu family could be slaughtered. Why do you need to break the formation? I can just use 3 punches and 2 kicks to break the formation. Another demon clan genius said. He had horns on his head, and he was murderous and demonic. He was a genius from the powerful Bull Demon clan, famous for his strength. The Lu family is too weak. The formation is vulnerable. There are only 5 foundation building cultivators inside, so they are vulnerable. As long as I urge the stone tablet to smash it down, I can destroy the Lu family. Many demon generals spoke up and rubbed their hands. They were extremely disdainful of the Lu family, just like the meat at their mouths, which they could swallow as soon as they opened their mouths. At this time, an old woman appeared, and a trace of terrifying aura leaked out of her body, which was later restrained. Greetings, Xiao Demon Lord. A demon clan genius seemed to recognize him, and bowed to greet him. Greetings, Xiao Demon Lord. Other demon clan geniuses also spoke up one after another, with respectful words. Thank you for helping the princess. I would like to thank all the geniuses here. The old woman said, bowing and thanking. We will do anything to kill the rebels for the princess. Kill a mere rebel, the princess said. Many geniuses nodded. The demon king of the demon clan and the true lord of the human clan signed an agreement that it is okay for peers to fight, and the big cannot bully the small. We must abide by the rules, and cannot cause trouble for his majesty the demon king. The old woman said, just like the Changyuan mountain in front of us, I can break it with a snap of my fingers, and kill Lu Xuanji with a wave of my hand, but I can't do it. Only you can do it. Of course. A genius of the demon clan said, when it comes to fighting among peers, we demon clan geniuses are not inferior to the human race. Well, I look forward to you killing Xuanji. The old woman said, very satisfied. Demon King, why don't you let me break Xuanji Mountain and slaughter the entire Lu family? A genius of the demon clan said, murderous. In this beast tide, he has already wiped out 8 immortal cultivation families. This time, it will become the 9th. You can exterminate the Lu family, but you must do it after killing the Lu family child. The old woman said, if the Lu family child is vulnerable, kill Lu Xuanji first, then destroy the Lu family. But if you are defeated by the Lu family child, it is best to leave the Lu family. Why is that? The demon clan genius said, why don't we send people to fight the Lu family child while attacking and destroying the Lu family so that we can distract the Lu family child? Stupid. The old woman said bluntly. The demon clan genius blushed, but he couldn't refute. If an enemy catches your parents and says that they will only let your parents go if you commit suicide, will you agree? The old woman asked. Of course not. The demon clan's pride said, the enemy asked me to commit suicide, so I committed suicide. I'm not that stupid. Besides, if I commit suicide, my parents cannot be saved. It's better to leave ruthlessly and wait until I'm strong enough to kill the entire enemy family and avenge my parents. That's right. The old woman said, human cultivators are all born by their parents. Their flesh and blood come from their parents, and they owe their parents karma. They are also raised and grown up by their families, and they owe their families karma. These karmas entangle human cultivators, making it difficult for them to be free and at ease, and their cultivation progress is slow. The demon cultivators kill their wives to prove their truth, cut off the karma of the world, and seek great freedom. The immortal cultivators have the supreme forgetfulness, cut off the karma of the world, and seek great freedom. They are essentially similar. Those cultivators are burdened by their parents and family ties, and they have to worry about this and that. Their minds are bound, and it is difficult for them to be free and at ease. You are doing well now. You can directly destroy the Lu family. The child of the Lu family may be sad and heartbroken, but you have also cut off the cause and effect of the world for him, allowing him to be free and at ease, and no longer be burdened by his family, and soar to the sky. Now, do you still want to kill his entire family? Chapter 130 Eating Hot Pot. Of course not. The demon clan's celestial pride nodded. A giant and cultivator who has a family and a sect to worry about, but it is not terrible. What is terrible is a scattered giant and cultivator, a bachelor, who wants to kill whoever he wants, and is not bound by any rules. That is the most terrible. Just like the Demon King, when he was a Yuanying demon, he was in the world, killing whoever he wanted, and didn't care about the rules or the threat of the human race. But when he succeeded to the Demon King, he had many concerns, and had to sign a contract with humans, and be restricted by rules. Since the Lu family is the weakness of the Lu family's child, then stay. Who is willing to fight? The old woman said. I'm willing to fight first. At this moment, a demon clan's celestial pride said, and ran first. When he reached the foot of the mountain, he shouted loudly, Lu family's child, dare to fight. This general is the demon clan's Niubatian. As he spoke, thunder rolled, and the terrifying voice spread. As if to demonstrate, Niubatian stomped his feet on the ground. Originally a human body, sharp horns grew on his head, his feet turned into hooves, his body became burly and domineering, and he turned into a half demon and half human state. At the same time, a trace of demonic energy emanated from his body, suppressing all things in the world. The hooves of the ox stomped on the ground, making a rumbling sound. The ground was trampled, and a big pit appeared, hideous and huge, with cracks extending along the hooves. How dare you not fight? At this time, Lu Xuanji walked down Xuanji Mountain, his spine straight, his hands clenched into fists. Destiny deduction was calculating the enemy's information, and various news about Niubatian were recorded and analyzed one after another. His strengths and weaknesses were all revealed. There was no longer a trace of secrets. It's just a bull demon. I'll eat beef if I kill him. Lu Xuanji said, licking his lips, his stomach rumbling. Braised beef offal with radish, thick cut beef tongue, beef hot pot, beef tripe with scallion oil, dry pot beef tripe, beef noodles, steak, braised tendon, etc., are flashing with special beauties. You are just a human race, but the blood food of my demon race. I'm going to break your legs and eat you. Niubatian said, with a ferocious look in his eyes. A big axe appeared in his hand. The axe was 1 meter long and wide, thick and huge, with mountains, forests, bull demons, etc. carved on it. The axe was as heavy as a mountain. Buzz buzz buzz. Holding the axe with both hands, he stepped forward and chopped towards Lu Xuanji's head. The powerful bull demons are extremely powerful and pay the most attention to conquering people with force. Lu Xuanji's mind moved, and he was about to draw out the Lihuo sword to chop and kill, because in Deduction of Destiny, Niubatian's advantages and disadvantages have been pointed out. The advantages are huge power, strong defense, and long endurance, but the disadvantages are slow movement speed and poor agility. It's best to keep wandering around the periphery, consuming Niubatian's physical strength, and then kill him with speed. But in an instant, Lu Xuanji changed his mind, took out the heaven-swallowing cauldron, and smashed it down in the air. Break force with force. Break tyranny with tyranny. The heaven-swallowing cauldron, with 4 legs, a square belly, and 2 ears, is a yin cauldron, a cauldron for worshipping the earth. Because it is a lifelong magic weapon, it is light and fluttering when held in his hand, but it has the power of the earth, and is the heaviest. Buzz buzz buzz. Holding the heaven-swallowing cauldron, smashing it down, bang. It's like Mars and the earth collided together, and the heavy axe and the heavy cauldron collided together. In the violent noise, the 2 heavy weapons clashed with each other. Sparks were flying. Sizzle. Along with the violent noise, a huge axe mark appeared on the heaven-swallowing cauldron, which was hideous and terrible, as if it was about to be split apart. But under the huge human force of the heaven-swallowing cauldron, Niubatian's axe flew backwards, his body was hit violently, and his feet retreated one after another. He vented his strength by retreating. It vented from his feet, and cracks appeared on the ground where his feet stepped. How is it possible? Niubatian's arms were numb, his meridians were broken, and cracks appeared on his hands. Blood flowed out, and his flesh and blood were blurred. There was a flash of reluctance and shock in his expression. Under the collision of strength, he was at a disadvantage. Come again. Lu Xuanji took a deep breath, took a step 10 meters away, and smashed down with the heaven-swallowing cauldron again. Originally, the heaven-swallowing cauldron had already shown a huge axe mark under the previous collision, but at that moment, a suction force surged in the heaven-swallowing cauldron, absorbing the power of the earth, and repairing the wound of the cauldron. In just a breath of time, all the wounds were healed. Niubatian waved the axe, and came to meet it. Bang! The cauldron and the axe collided. Niubatian retreated again. He raised the cauldron and smashed it again, simple and violent. Niubatian raised the axe to meet it, and hit the cauldron. He retreated again, his legs almost breaking. Bang! Lu Xuanji stepped forward, and the giant tripod hit him. Niubatian raised his axe to meet him, and retreated again. The tripod and the axe collided, and the collision continued. One stepped forward, and the other retreated frequently. There was no fighting skills at all, and there was no beauty at all. It was like a fight between children, or even worse than a fight between children. But this battle attracted the attention of everyone. Whether it was the demon clan or the human clan, they all focused their attention here, calculating and deducing. If I were in it, I would play a role. How would I respond? And could I perform better? 9 consecutive collisions, 9 consecutive retreats. His hands were bloody. Niubatian was panting slightly. But at this moment, Niubatian was afraid, and he activated the talisman on his waist and teleported away. The moment he moved the talisman, it meant that he had already lost. Don't run away. At this moment, Lu Xuanji activated the flying sword, and the flying sword touched the instrument. Crack. The talisman instrument shattered, and the teleportation failed. At this moment, the big tripod fell down. Bang. The bull's head shattered, and a corpse fell to the ground, turning into a bull corpse 10 feet long. Niubatian died, and a demon clan genius died. Swish. At this moment, Lu Xuanji took out the Lihuo sword and cut the bull's body, but encountered obstacles. The physique of this bull demon is strong, and its physique is not inferior to that of a second-grade spiritual weapon. The Lihua sword may suffer some damage if it wants to cut it. Destiny deduces, butchering a cow. Xuanji activated his mobile phone again, and some information appeared on the mobile phone, which was exactly some weak points of the bull demon's body. The Lihua sword pierced into the weak points, and began to cut and decompose. It soon decomposed, and threw it into the plates one by one, and carefully put it away. Whoosh! Throwing down the bushinding, hundreds of spiritual stones were placed under the tripod, and the spiritual stones were ignited, and turned into spiritual fire. He poured in some spiritual spring water, and the steam was floating. He also poured in some oil, seasonings, etc. I want to eat hot pot, and I would like to invite you to come and taste it, Xuanji said, and his voice spread to the demon clan, which was very insulting. Seeing this scene, the demon clan was almost furious. Chapter 131, The bell rings, the soul is destroyed. Some of the demon clan's geniuses were even more murderous. But their fear was also increasing. First, they defeated the 7th Princess Balinger, and then, in full view of the public, they killed Niubatian. The Lu family's child was a great enemy. If he was not careful, he might become an ingredient in the hot pot. Who wants to fight? The old woman said. If you are afraid, you might as well retreat. It's better to provoke the enemy than to invite him. The demon clan's geniuses, who were originally afraid, said, how can we protect the human children? I will fight you. At this time, a man in black stepped forward. His body was changing, and he turned into a huge demon bird. The black and gold feathers were like armor, and there was a flame burning in his sharp eyes. He fluttered his wings, and turned into a 10-foot long demon body to kill him. There was a third claw under his 2 claws. It was the 3-legged golden crow. According to legend, the 3-legged golden crow is the son of the sun and a top-level divine beast. This 3-legged golden crow was only a mixed-blood golden crow, and it was a million miles away from a true-blood golden crow. But after all, it was stained with the blood of the golden crow. Even if it was only a slight blood connection, it was superior to most monsters, and ranked among the geniuses of the monster race. My son from the Lu family, I heard that you have cultivated the heavenly fire art to perfection. I wonder if you can withstand my sun true fire. The golden crow soared into the sky like a rising sun, with golden flames burning all over its body, and the spiritual energy in the void was hissing. The one who killed you is the demon race, 72nd on the heavenly pride list, genuine. The golden crow turned into a black and golden lightning, and appeared in front of him in an instant. The sun true fire condensed together, and turned into feather swords, stabbing down. Using fire as a sword, burning the sky, and destroying the world. Xuanji urged the heavenly fire art, and 99 and 81 runes condensed, and turned into a phoenix to pounce on him. Hissing, the flames collided with each other and annihilated each other. After holding on for a while, the heavenly fire seemed to be unable to hold on, and began to retreat. The heavenly fire, after all, was no match for the sun's true fire. The cultivators of the human race had to constantly comprehend and practice before they could master minor, major, and supreme magical powers. However, the magical powers of the demon race originated from their bloodline, and they could evolve into magical powers after their bloodline was awakened. This kind of magical power was almost instinctive, and could be controlled without any learning. The Black Wolf Demon Generals, Wolf Howl, Balingers, Charm, Teleport, Death Substitution, Genuines, Sun's True Fire, and other magical powers were automatically learned after their bloodline was awakened. In terms of grade, Heavenly Fire Art was only a minor magical power, while Sun's True Fire was a major magical power, so it was naturally no match. Xuanji sighed, retracted the Heavenly Fire, and condensed the Lihua sword, turning it into a sword light, and slashing it down. Ding ding ding. The two sides clashed, and the Lihua sword stabbed Jinyun's body, making a series of crisp sounds, comparable to top-level magic weapons, and the sword could not pierce through at all. Whoosh. Instead, Jinyun controlled the body of the golden crow. The sun's true fire burned, and the flames destroyed everything. The wings were like divine weapons, cutting everything. The claws were extremely sharp, destroying all laws. In the continuous collisions, the blood boiled, the corners of the mouth bled, and it was the first time that he fell behind. It is worthy of being a top-level divine beast. Whether it is the strength of the body, the ability to fight, or the innate magical power, it is far beyond that of humans. Lu Xuanji took a deep breath, took back the Lihuo sword, and directly took the Bushanding, and started to hit people. Ding ding. Just a collision. Jinyuan's blood was boiling, and he was obviously defeated. Immediately changed his strategy, began to use the sun's true fire for a long-range attack, urged the wings, and began to move quickly. But Lu Xuanji urged the big tripod to hit continuously, with simple and violent means. The golden crow dodged and attacked from the side. Bang! Both sides were changing positions quickly and attacking. The golden crow was fast and the cauldron could not hit him. Similarly, Lu Xuanji moved fast and the sun's true fire could not burn his body. Occasionally, a few flames burned on his body, but they were also annihilated by the perfect state of heavenly fire art. Fast against fast, 100 moves passed in the blink of an eye. Jinyuan was slightly out of breath. Although the sun's true fire was powerful and burned everything, it consumed a lot. Lu Xuanji was not out of breath at all, because the heaven-swallowing cauldron entered the Danshan again, continuously providing spiritual fluid, and he was least afraid of a protracted battle. No, if the protracted battle continues, I will lose. Jinyuan's eyes flashed with impatience and uneasiness. He couldn't lose. Although he was a golden crow, his bloodline level was too low, and he only had the hope of entering the third level of the Purple Mansion. Only by entering the blood pool and improving the bloodline level can the probability be increased. Therefore, this battle can only be won, not lost. Let's decide the outcome with one move. A trace of determination flashed in Jinyuan's eyes, and he urged the innate magical power in his blood. It seemed that this magical power was too powerful, and the spirit and energy in his body were drained, and the true essence was consumed violently, so that a phantom of a big bell appeared in the void. The big bell was too illusory, like a bubble, like a projection. The pattern on it was incomplete, and the scene on it was unclear. At this moment, the bell rang. The bell rings. The soul is destroyed. Ding. The illusory bell rang, and in an instant the surrounding space was stilled. Time was stilled, and the power of the sound wave turned into the power of soul destruction, like water waves to kill Lu Xuanji's soul. Sizzle. The invisible sound wave strangled the soul. At this moment, the mobile phone dormant in the sea of consciousness urged a light film to resist. The sound wave was annihilating and dying, and the light film was also dimming. The light film still dissipated, and the remaining sound waves attacked the soul, as if a hole was cut in the soul. Fortunately, the remaining sound waves were less than 1/10, and the soul was seriously injured but not destroyed. The illusory chaos bell disappeared, and the time stopped, and the space solidified dissipated. Lu Xuanji regained his perception, and his soul seemed to be torn in half. The intense pain came out, and he almost fainted. But Lu Xuanji held on. What a descendant of the Golden Crow, what a chaos bell. I will take this grudge. If I ascend to the fairyland one day, I will definitely smash the chaos bell. Lu Xuanji's anger was rising in his heart, and his murderous intent was confused. If it weren't for the mobile phone that blocked part of the soul attack, this time, it was no longer a serious injury, but a death. Take my knife, Yuan Si Shai and Ao. Lu Xuanji was angry, and swung his hand to cut a knife. But this slash of sword triggered the magnetic force of heaven and earth, which gathered together, and turned into a grey long sword. Jinyuan was terrified and dodged. He dodged the fatal sword, but one of his wings was chopped off. Drops of golden blood fell, and the wings of Yiji fell to the ground. Jinyuan was shocked and urged his innate magical power, rainbow transformation technique, to escape in an instant and return to the demon clan formation. Lu Xuanji wanted to chase him, but it was too late. He could only put away half of the golden crow's wings, and put them into the storage bag. His body shook slightly, and the Bushanding entered his danshan. A stream of Bushan Qi entered his body. The injuries of his body were healing, but the injuries of his soul did not improve at all. The level of Bushan Qi was a bit low, not enough to repair the injuries of his soul. Chapter 130 to the end of Ancestor Yan Yang. Chapter 133 The grudge is settled. After the battle, the ground was full of corpses of monsters. The formation had been opened, and some monks walked out. Patriarch, the divine power is immeasurable. Haha, the old ancestor Yan Yang is dead. The one who destroyed my Lu family in the past is finally dead. Haha, you old man have come to this day. Dead, finally dead. Seeing the body of the old ancestor Yan Yang, everyone breathed a sigh of relief, and some old people even burst into tears. The former enemy turned into a corpse, and the Lu family was very happy. 100 years ago, when the Lu family was at its peak, even though the old ancestor of the Purple Mansion had fallen, the family had more than 20 foundation building monks sitting in the family, and it was still a major force in Qingshu County and still dominated one side. But because the old ancestor Yan Yang led the bandits to attack, most of the foundation building monks of the Lu family died in battle, and there were only 3 remaining foundation building monks. At that time, the Lu family had almost declined to the extreme. Although the great elder Lu Xianyi has entered the Purple Mansion realm in recent years, the Lu family has no desire for revenge, but is cautious instead. Patriarch Yan Yang was already at the 4th level of the Purple Mansion, but the great elder was only at the 1st level of the Purple Mansion. They could not fight at all. If they forced a fight, the great elder would die. Even when the Lu family cultivators went out, they were very careful. The only lucky thing was that the Chu state was looking for Patriarch Yan Yang, and this Purple Mansion cultivator could only flee to other places and was not allowed to set foot on the land of the Chu state. But who would have thought that when the beast tide came, Patriarch Yan Yang would attack silently, wanting to kill the head of the Lu family and destroy the head of the Lu family. At that time, everyone was terrified, thinking that a Lu family was about to be destroyed. But who would have thought that a golden token appeared, a sword energy was shot out, and Patriarch Yan Yang died on the spot. This old man is dead. When his body is used as fertilizer, it will be another top grade spiritual medicine next year. Lu Daoan said, gritting his teeth. Are you teaching me how to do things? Lu Xuanji shouted. Lu Daoan shuddered and said, I dare not. The other cultivators said, of course, the clan leader will make the decision. When they spoke, everyone's faces were full of fear, as if they were facing a tiger or a wolf. At ordinary times, this clan leader was amiable and gave people a sense of closeness, but at this moment, he killed the demon clan's genius, and even the ancestor Yan Yang died in his hands. Everyone felt more awed. When a person dies, it's like a lamp goes out, everything disappears. He is dead, and the grudges with my Lu family are also understood, so why bother with the corpse? Lu Xuanji said, I will cremate you. As he said that, he took out the Bushanding and urged the skyfire. Woo woo woo. The skyfire was flashing and burning the corpse. In less than half an hour, the corpse turned into ashes, and the strong wind blew it and scattered it in the sky and the earth. Looking at this scene, some Lu family cultivators felt reluctant and were about to say something. This is the corpse of a Purple Mansion cultivator. The blood can make talisman ink, the bones can be used to refine talisman soldiers, and even the flesh and blood can nourish spiritual medicine. As soon as he opened his mouth, some old monks stopped him. They may not understand the decision made by the clan leader, but they must support it. The beast tide has formed. Lu Xuanji returned to the cave and began to recuperate. He estimated that it would take at least 20 years for the injury to heal. In these 20 years, he could not practice, and his cultivation would stagnate. Fighting and killing would affect his cultivation. He urged the Bushanding to refine the corpse of the monster, turning it into Bushan Qi, repairing the injuries of the body, and the injuries would be healed in just 3 years. It was just the injury of the soul that was difficult to treat. The wound was expanding. If it was not treated in time, it might hurt the origin, and the Purple Mansion would be hopeless. Thinking of something, he took out the golden token again. There was a huge crack on the token, which looked hideous and huge. The token, which was originally bright with golden light, became dim, and it seemed that it would be broken in the near future. I owe another favor to the old ancestor Jin. Lu Xuanji thought. Touching the token, he was speculating and deducing in his heart. When I first got this token, I didn't care much about it, but now it seems to be not simple. The more I observe it, the more strange and powerful it becomes. There are 3 sword key sealed on the token, which are comparable to the 3 strikes of a giant and cultivator. Just now, I only activated 1 sword key, which killed the old ancestor Yan Yang. When all 3 sword key are activated, the token will be completely shattered. The sword key on the token is sealed and cannot be activated at ordinary times. It can only be activated when it senses the breath of the purple mansion. When he was fighting with the demon clan Xuanji, he was killed by the demon clan Xuanji, and the sword key would not be activated. Only when the purple mansion cultivator took action, the sword key would be activated and give a fatal blow. Ahem. After coughing, Xuanji operated the Spring Breeze Wood Spirit technique, operating the wood key, and the wood key operation healed the injury. The Bushinding exhaled the sky repairing key to repair the injury. With two-pronged approach, the injury was recovering little by little. Because of the need to recuperate, he could not practice and improve his cultivation, and could only meditate in seclusion to comprehend Pure Yang Heavenly Fire, Heavenly Wood Method, and Elemental Magnetic Heavenly Blade. These are the three great divine powers. Great divine powers far surpass minor divine powers in terms of both the depth of the secrets and the combat effectiveness. Pure Yang Heavenly Fire condenses 300 runes at the beginning, 3000 runes at the minor level, 300,000 runes at the major level, and 300,000 runes at the complete level. Heavenly Wood Method condenses 700 runes at the beginning, 7,000 runes at the minor level, 700,000 runes at the major level, and 700,000 runes at the complete level. Elemental Magnetic Heavenly Blade condenses 9999 runes at the beginning, 9999 runes at the minor level, 99,999 runes at the major level, and 999,999 runes at the complete level. Great divine powers also have different strengths, and Elemental Magnetic Heavenly Blade is undoubtedly the strongest great divine power. From entry level to small success, big success, and perfection, it is a process of continuous accumulation, from quantitative change to qualitative change. This transformation is no longer a simple accumulation of quantity, but also involves the arrangement and combination of runes, perfect optimization, etc. It has high requirements for the control of mana, the strength of your soul, etc. In addition, the Skyfire rune requires the number of Xiangang Disha, which requires 108 strokes. The Skywood rune requires the number of Zhaoshan, which requires 365 strokes. The Yuan Magnetic rune requires 1296 strokes. With the mana level, soul strength, and subtle control of the foundation building cultivator, it is impossible to even depict a rune of a great supernatural power, let alone practice. The lowest threshold for practicing great supernatural power is the Purple Mansion Cultivator. Only the Purple Mansion Cultivator is qualified to practice great supernatural power. In fact, many Purple Mansion cultivators will not practice great supernatural power because of their poor comprehension, insufficient control, poor soul strength, etc., but focus on small supernatural power. 3 years later, the physical injury was healed, but the soul injury remained. Pure Yang Heavenly Fire only condensed 3 runes. Heavenly Wood Method only condensed 9 runes. Yuan Magnetic Heavenly Sword only condensed 2 runes. Not to mention the entry, it's just the fur. The soul injury has not healed, but is expanding. It's a big trouble. Xuanji felt the soul injury and frowned slightly. Walking out of the cave, he met the elder. The elder smiled and said, "Congratulations, you are ranked 72nd on the Chu State Xuanji list." Chapter 134, The List of Geniuses, Soul Nourishing Pills. The Prodigy List. What is that? Xuanji asked curiously. In the state of Chu, there are as many as 300,000 foundation building cultivators. It is difficult to determine who is strong and who is weak among these cultivators. After all, they are concerned about some friendships or some other factors, and cannot fight a life and death battle. As long as it is not a life and death battle, the so-called strength and weakness are meaningless. So, there is the Prodigy List. The Prodigy List is also known as the Monster Clan Wanted List. Because some human prodigies have killed many monster cultivators, they have aroused the fear and murderous intent of the monster cultivators, and issued a bounty to hunt them down. The prodigies are ranked according to the bounty in the hunt. The prodigies on the list are not necessarily the strongest, nor do they necessarily have the greatest potential, but they are definitely the ones the monsters hate the most and want to kill. You are very lucky, but also very unfortunate. You have made it onto the prodigy list, ranking 72nd. The bounty is a transformation pill, a good emperor flow paddle, and a 3rd grade spiritual weapon, the soul slaying sword, worth 720,000 spirit stones. The great elder said, with a gloating tone in his words, but also a hint of joy. After returning to the Lu family, he learned that the demons were attacking, and that Lu Xuanji had fought against the demons' geniuses, killed the Black Wolf demon general, defeated the 7th princess Bailinger, killed Niu Batian, defeated the Golden Crow demon general, and killed the Flying Fish demon general. Finally, he used the token of the Golden Ancestor to kill the Yan Yang Ancestor. While he was afraid, he also felt a little happy. The list of geniuses, which means I'm on the blacklist of the demons. Lu Xuanji frowned. Of course, their enemies are my heroes. The elder said, many times, the ranking of the Xuanji list is not based on the ranking of our human cultivators, but on the ranking of the demon cultivators. They are all stained with the blood of the demon Xuanji and have established their supreme reputation. The Xuanji who cannot kill demons is just a fake Xuanji. Ahem. But I was also injured in the battle with the demon Xuanji, and it was a soul injury. Lu Xuanji said, the injury is still there, and has not healed yet. Let me check it out. The elder stepped forward to check and frowned, saying, it's troublesome, it's troublesome. It's a bit troublesome. If the injury cannot be healed, it will affect the foundation. It's best to buy the soul nourishing pill to treat the injury, but the price is 300,000 spirit stones. You can buy it from Ancestor Jin, and buy it on credit. I owe Ancestor Jin a lot of favors, so I don't care about this. You have entered the Xuanji list, which is worth the investment of those big forces. In a word, the Lu family still has no money. Without money, they can only borrow money. If they borrowed money in the past, they would be embarrassed. But when Lu Xuanji entered the Xuanji list, it was not only nice to borrow money, but also to borrow more money. Every Xuanji is a potential stock. The Yi family chose to marry, and married a top female cultivator with two spiritual roots to Lu Xuanji as a Taoist partner, because they valued Lu Xuanji as a high quality stock with room for appreciation. But now, Lu Xuanji has killed and defeated many demon Xuanji's, proving his potential, and his stocks have been appreciating recently. At this moment, if he asks the Yi family for money, the Yi family will definitely be happy to lend him money. Okay. Lu Xuanji nodded. What is a connection? Connection means that, when you owe others a lot of karma, you will have a friendship with each other. In the previous life, the United States owed money to many countries in the world, so it had connections in various countries in the world. Put on a cloak, and go out in a more concealed way. The elder finally reminded, it's because your surname is Lu, otherwise I would have killed you long ago, and went to the Demon King Palace, to exchange for the bounty. Lu Xuanji nodded, put on the cloak, and left carefully. The demon race and the human race are constantly fighting and killing each other, but there are still some trade exchanges and some goods exchanges between them. They have spies, and traitors planted in each other. If someone is left alone outside, some traitors don't mind killing him, and exchanging him for a bounty with the demon emperor. Before leaving, the elder handed him a card. This card is called a spirit stone card. Inside the card, there is a quota of 100,000 spirit stones, and a maximum loan of 100,000 spirit stones. At the time of the last marriage, the Yi family gave him a lot of things, which was considered an investment in him, and the spirit stone card was one of them. However, there are restrictions, and only some specific elixirs can be purchased. Leaving Changyuan Mountain, he hurried away, and after a detour in the middle, he went to Xiang Mountain. The soul nourishing pill is a 3rd grade pill that can heal injuries to the soul. It is also very useful for the Purple Mansion cultivators, and can heal the trauma of his soul. When he arrived at Xiang Mountain, it was still the same shop. The receptionist was dressed in white like snow, with a graceful figure, standing there gracefully, like a fairy. It was Yi Xuan. It seems that, because of the breakthrough, the breath is a little unstable and difficult to perfectly converge, emitting a trace of terrifying pressure. This is the breath of the Purple Mansion. Congratulations, fellow Daoist, for entering the Purple Mansion realm. Lu Xuanji congratulated. Yi Xuan is also a member of the Yi family. Of course, this blood connection is very thin. Apart from the same surname Yi, there is no more connection. Fellow Daoist, it seems to be injured. Yi Zuan sensed the breath and said, it seems that the soul is injured. It's a bit troublesome. I need a third grade soul nourishing pill. Lu Xuanji said. A year ago, the master refined a furnace of soul nourishing pills, about 12 pills, but they were quickly digested by the disciples of Xiang Mountain. Yi Zuan said, in this beast tide, not only the master was injured, but also many sisters were injured, and 3 died. What a pity, condolences. Lu Xuanji said. Dao, let's go somewhere else to buy the soul nourishing pill. Yi Zuan said, the 3 main medicinal materials of the soul nourishing pill will take another 10 years to mature. After 10 years, the master will open the furnace to refine the pill again. In the world of cultivation, refining pills is not difficult. The difficult part is that the medicinal materials are hard to find and the age is not up to standard. The suitable medicinal materials have been used up. Even if there are high quality spiritual plant masters to ripen them, it will take a certain amount of time and the furnace can only be opened after 10 years. But after 10 years, can it really be my turn? Impossible. It seems that the cultivators of Xiang Mountain are not enough for themselves, so how can they sell out to others? How is the battle? Lu Xuanji asked. The battle is very tragic. Yi Zuan said, sobbing. At Teeling Pass, the master was besieged by 6 giant and demon kings. The master killed 3 giant and demon kings, seriously injured 2, and 1 escaped. But at this moment, the Golden Crow Demon King sneaked in and activated his supreme magical power, Chaos Bell, to attack the master. The master was ambushed and seriously injured on the spot. But the Golden Crow Demon King was not feeling well either and was seriously injured by the master. Chapter 135 Ancestor Jin was seriously injured. Yi Zuan started talking about the battle at Teeling Pass. This time, the battle at Teeling Pass seemed to exceed people's imagination. Because of the killing of the White Tiger Demon King, there were as many as 6 Demon Kings besieging Teeling Pass this time, and they led 300 Demon Kings and 300,000 Demon Generals to besiege. The momentum was so huge that many cultivators of the human race were shocked. Fortunately, Jin Laozu was also prepared. Jin Laozu was a formation master, who was best at arranging formations and best at defeating the majority with a small number. With the help of the formation, the 6 demon kings were isolated, and then defeated one by one. 3 demon kings were killed, 2 were seriously injured and escaped, and 1 demon king used a secret technique to escape. But at the moment of victory, the Golden Crow Demon King sneaked in, and Jin Laozu was seriously injured. However, under Jin Laozu's counterattack, the Golden Crow Demon King was also seriously injured. This battle was considered a lose-lose situation. Long Xuan had left and went to Danyang sect to buy the 4th grade soul nourishing pill. With the serious injury of Jin Laozu, the great formation of Xiang Mountain was in operation at this moment, guarding against the attack of demon cultivators and immortal cultivators. In the world of cultivation, immortal cultivators do not represent justice. Many cultivators like to eat the extinct families. Many human cultivators were seriously injured, or even died in the fierce battle in the front. Those immortal cultivators would take the opportunity to kill and destroy the whole family to seize some wealth. Jin Laozu was seriously injured, and some of his former enemies, opponents, and even friends would have strange thoughts. At this time, Xiang Mountain was in a state of panic. Big trouble. Lu Xuanji was uneasy. Not only was Jin Laozu seriously injured, but many cultivators in Xiang Mountain were also seriously injured. The Danyang sect cultivators also suffered heavy casualties when they fought fiercely at Teeling Pass and confronted the Demon King and Demon General. In the Beast Tide, more than 30 immortal cultivation families were wiped out. The Beast Tide is a reshuffle of forces. Countless immortal cultivation forces are rising, while countless immortal cultivation forces are declining and dying. After the war, the prices of many healing pills are rising. Many times, they are just refined and digested internally, and will not be circulated on the market at all. Those lower grade healing pills are still good to buy. As for those high grade healing pills, it is difficult to buy. There is no hope for the soul nourishing pill. Lu Xuanji can only say, I need to buy some materials, such as Shinling Iron, fortune gold, 5 colored soil, Teichu divine iron, and he mentioned more than a dozen materials in succession. You are going to upgrade your life magic weapon. Yi Zuan listened to these materials and immediately understood the meaning, but still said, but you are already injured. You should focus on healing your injuries, not doing other things. I have my own ideas. Lu Xuanji said. These materials cost 250,000 spirit stones. I can no longer make the decision. I need to report to Sister Long Xuan, but she is not here, so I can only report to the ancestor. Yi Zuan said. Okay, I'll wait a moment. Lu Xuanji said. Yi Zuan disappeared and went to report. After a while, Yi Zuan appeared and said, the ancestor wants to summon you. He told the others to take care of the store and personally took Lu Xuanji to the mountain. In the garden on the top of the mountain, Lu Xuanji met the ancestor Jin again. Flowers were blooming all around. Next to the two small trees, there was a swing woven with vines, with a spiritual wood bench in the middle. There was a girl wearing a white dress with golden patterns on the hem, and silver stars swaying on it. She was tall and graceful, and she was sitting on the swing at the moment. As the swing swayed, her chest was trembling slightly. She exuded a light and elegant aura, like a woman in the mortal world, without a trace of sharp edge, without a trace of murderous aura, but just ordinary like a woman in the mortal world. But if you look closely, it is very attractive. Elegance is filled with holiness, dignity is filled with grace, and the unintentional charm stirs people's hearts. Who would have thought that this seemingly ordinary woman is a generation of giant and ancestor, standing above billions of humans? Meet the senior. Lu Xuanji said respectfully. Please sit down, said Jin Leozu. Yes. Lu Xuanji nodded and sat down on a stone bench next to him. You want to buy those spiritual materials? Jin Leozu asked. Yes. Lu Xuanji replied. At this time, Yi Zuan left respectfully. You know, the so-called magic weapons are just external objects. Only cultivation is the most important. No matter how many magic weapons you have, they are not as important as cultivation. Ancestor Jin persuaded, your aptitude is average, but your comprehension is first rate, and your luck is amazing. You can expect the golden elixir in the future, and there is also a glimmer of hope for the nascent soul. Don't be confused by external things, and lose your direction. There is an immortal who controls the 5-element avenue, yin and yang avenue, life and death avenue, time and space avenue, and destiny avenue. He integrates many avenues together to evolve the birth and death of all things. There is a cultivator who only controls the flame avenue and uses fire to break all methods. Let me ask, who is stronger and who is weaker? Lu Xuanji asked. The former is broad-minded, while the latter is specialized. Patriarch Jin said, we should fight to see who is stronger and who is weaker. That's right. Lu Xuanji said, there are 3,000 main roads and 800 side roads. Are the side roads really inferior to the main roads? I don't think so. There is no difference between the main roads and the side roads. There is only the strength of the cultivators. In front of the old demon Hehuan, the way of Hehuan was just a method of taking yin to replenish yang. It was just harmful to others and not beneficial to oneself. It was just a small road that was not up to standard. But when the old demon Hehuan evolved the way of Hehuan into the way of yin and yang, and used the way of yin and yang to interpret all laws and all things, who dared to say that he was a small road? The immortal path is hard to find. With my qualifications, there is still some hope for the purple mansion, but not much hope for the golden elixir, not to mention the nascent soul. The path I want to take is the path of Duobao. If I become an immortal, my title should be Duobao Xianjin. When I become an immortal king, my title should be the immortal king of creation. Well, I can't argue with you. You have your way. Ancestor Jin sighed and took out 18 kinds of materials including heavenly spirit iron, creation gold, 5-colored soil, primordial divine iron, etc. Lu Xuanji put these materials into the storage bag and thanked him. Ahem. At this moment, Ancestor Jin coughed and covered his mouth with his right hand. When he opened his hand, there was blood inside. Senior, are you injured? Is the injury serious? Lu Xuanji asked worriedly. At Teeling Pass, I encountered the Golden Crow Demon King. He activated his supreme magical power, the Chaos Bell, and severely injured me. Ancestor Jin said, the Chaos Bell is the magic weapon of the demon ancestor. If it is summoned by a pure-blooded Golden Crow, it can evolve into a supreme magical power. The Golden Crow Demon King is obviously much inferior and only got a little bit of it. Otherwise, I would have been killed by that supreme magical power in one move, and how could I have the time to talk to you here? Ancestor Jin's pupils shrank slightly, as if he realized something, and he couldn't help but smile. We are destined to meet. My soul was injured by the Golden Crow, and your soul was also injured by the Golden Crow. Unfortunately, the soul nourishing pill has been used up. 10 years later, I will open the furnace to refine the pill, and I will definitely give you one. Are you going to wait in Xiang Mountain for 10 years? There is a shortage of goods in the market outside, and you can't buy the soul nourishing pill. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelos. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 136 Causal Limitations. After the war, the most scarce elixir was the healing elixir. Many elixirs were digested internally as soon as they were refined. Even if you go to other markets, you may not be able to buy the soul nourishing pill. 10 years later, when Jin Liaozu opened the furnace to refine elixirs and refined the 3rd grade soul nourishing pill, he first gave it to his disciples. Those close to him might not get his turn. But now he promised to give him a soul nourishing pill 10 years later, which shows that he values him very much. Ancestor, it's not necessary. Lu Xuanji said, I have a way to heal injuries, which can cure the injuries of the soul. Don't be stubborn. The injuries caused by the Chaos Bell will leave hidden dangers and damage the foundation, if there is no soul nourishing pill. Jin Liaozu said, Ancestor, I have my own opinion. Lu Xuanji thought of something, and took out a Bushanding directly. Boom. With a loud noise, the big cauldron fell to the ground. Lu Xuanji said, Ancestor, what do you think of this alchemy furnace? Not bad. Jin Liaozu observed for a moment with his insight. Really? Lu Xuanji said, then the ancestor will take a closer look. Ancestor Jin observed carefully again, but could not see anything. He took it in his hand and knocked it, comprehending it, and it felt ordinary. It seemed that there was nothing special. It was just a 2nd grade alchemy furnace, which seemed very ordinary. It's very ordinary, Ancestor Jin said. Ancestor Dan knows that at the time of the Yi family blind date meeting, I once refined a top grade Beiyang pill. In fact, in that game, I cheated with this alchemy furnace to help me cheat. Lu Xuanji said, with the assistance of this alchemy furnace, my alchemy level has been improved to a higher level. Ancestor Jin nodded and said nothing. Using the alchemy furnace to improve the level of alchemy is within the scope allowed by the rules and is not considered cheating. Once, I put some corpses of monsters in it, and the Bushanding refined it and turned it into a special gas called Bushanqi, which can heal the injuries of cultivators and even the injuries of the soul. Lu Xuanji said, patting the alchemy furnace, and suddenly a white grey gas appeared. Ancestor Jin looked at the grey gas, and suddenly felt his heart throbbing, and his body longing. He longed to absorb the gas. With a wave of his hand, the gas entered his body, and was absorbed by it. Suddenly, the injuries on his body improved a little. Even his soul felt comfortable. This little bit was very slight. Ancestor Jin smiled and said, what a great Bushanqi. Do you have any more? Yes, but the grade is not high. Lu Xuanji said, the grade of the Bushanding is only the 2nd grade, and the Bushanqi forged from it is also only the 2nd grade. I bought some spiritual materials from the ancestor, just to upgrade the grade of the Bushanding. When the Bushanding is upgraded to the 3rd grade, the 3rd grade Bushanqi can be forged, which is more beneficial for treating injuries. What are you doing? Ancestor Jin was slightly pleased, and vaguely understood what Lu Xuanji was going to say. Lu Xuanji asked, Ancestor, are you able to forge a 4th grade spiritual treasure? Yes. Ancestor Jin said, my main occupation is a formation master, and my level of refining is relatively poor. But I'm a Jinden cultivator after all. After reaching the Jinden stage, I can master all arts, such as alchemy, refining, making talismans, and formations, and can quickly get started and enter a deeper level in a very short time. I can refine a 4th grade spiritual treasure, but I'm not a professional 4th grade refiner. It will take a lot of time to refine spiritual treasures, and it will also waste some materials, and the grade of the spiritual treasure will decline to a certain extent. I have a volume of treasure refining secrets here, which tells how to refine the Bushanding. Ancestor can follow the secrets to refine a 4th grade Bushanding, and then refine the body of a giant and demon king to turn it into a 4th grade Bushan key, which can heal injuries. Xuanji said the plan. Soul nourishing pills are extremely scarce. As for the 4th grade soul nourishing pills, they are even more scarce. After his soul was injured, the Jin Patriarch could only endure the hardship and sent his maid Longzhu into the Danliang sect to obtain the 4th grade soul nourishing pill. If the Danliang sect had goods, it would be the best. But if there were no goods, the 4th grade Bushanding could be used instead. Yes. The Jin Patriarch said only one word. Xuanji took out a pen and ink and began to write on the paper, writing the method of forging the Bushanding. But after writing only 10 words, the paper burned without fire and turned into ashes. Xuanji was speechless. This treasure refining secret technique seems to be not simple. The Jin Patriarch frowned and seemed to have thought of something. Ancestor, I will recite it to you. Xuanji started to recite, but after only reciting 300 words, he was stopped by the Jin Patriarch. No need to recite, I can't remember it. The Jin Patriarch said. Impossible, you are the Giant Patriarch, how could you not remember it? Xuanji frowned and said. This world is a world of cultivation, and the memory of cultivators is extremely terrible. They can remember the contents of tens of thousands of words of cultivation techniques after listening to them once. How can they not remember them? I can't remember them, I just can't remember them. Ancestor Jin said, some cultivation techniques pay attention to chance and cause and effect, just like the treasure refining article you just read, which cannot be heard or remembered. In less than 3 breaths, I forgot all 300 words. Xuanji frowned slightly, thinking of the scene when he was learning the great 5-element yin yang yuan magnetic universe extinction divine sword. He only remembered it once and then forgot it. And when he was learning the heavenly wood method, he remembered it for an incense stick of time, but only remembered 1/3 of it. Ancestor, if I say it a few more times, you will remember it. Xuanji said. Don't try. Ancestor Jin said, this treasure refining secret is forgotten after seeing it, and it cannot be heard by the ears. It cannot be recorded by golden stone. There is a great cause and effect in it. I can't remember it or learn it. Unless my Taoism is improved to a terrifying level, I can directly break the cause and effect restriction. Xuanji choked. At this moment, she realized that those magic weapons were not simple. You go down. Jin Liaozhu said. Yes. Xuanji said nervously, and said goodbye. In the garden, only Jin Liaozhu was left. Interesting, the Bushanding actually has a great cause and effect, and I don't know who created the magic weapon. Jin Liaozhu frowned. She closed her eyes and tried to forcefully recall the contents of the Bushanding, but her memory was blank and her soul was slightly painful. The law of cause and effect in the dark was preventing her from remembering this set of treasure refining secrets. Is the treasure refining secret of the Bushanding comparable to the supreme supernatural power? Jin Liaozhu pondered. There is cause and effect in the world. As long as you live in the world, every move you make will leave traces, and there will be cause and effect. Some cultivators are proficient in the art of heavenly secrets, and can follow the cause and effect to deduce some small things. Some sects set up Taoist monuments based on cause and effect to prevent the leakage of skills. There are true disciples who cannot speak after practicing the sect's skills, nor can they write on paper to pass on to others. There are also cultivators who capture true disciples and try to collect their souls, but they find that everything is blank, with no memories to collect. This is just the sect established by the giant and cultivator, Yuan Ying's engine. As for the above mentioned Huashan Venerable, the skills and magical powers he left behind contain great cause and effect, which cannot be taught orally or recorded in writing. They cannot be taught to others until they are perfect, and they can only remember as much as they have understood. Lu Xuanji, you can speak and teach, but I just can't remember. Could he be the reincarnation of Huashan Venerable? Chapter 137 Cyan Weather. Under the Cyan Q, the swing was swaying. The girl was thinking, and seemed to have discovered something important. She opened the storage bag, took out a book, and flipped through it. It recorded all the things that happened to Lu Xuanji from birth to now, nearly 100 years ago. A lot of information was extremely detailed, and Lu Xuanji had forgotten the details, but he remembered it very clearly on it. Back then, when I first met Lu Xuanji, I inexplicably developed a good impression of him, and I didn't know why I had such a good impression, and even asked to accept him as a disciple. I didn't understand what he meant at the time. At that time, Lu Xuanji only had 3 spiritual roots, and his qualifications were neither good nor bad. Compared with 4 spiritual roots and 5 spiritual roots, he was naturally excellent, but compared with 2 spiritual roots and different spiritual roots, he was much worse. Afterwards, he used the plum blossom to calculate, and got the answer auspicious. So, there was some support and help for the Lu family later. Flipping to a certain page of the book, it recorded Lu Jinwen's words, "My son is the reincarnation of the true master." When he saw this page, Jin Liaozu just chuckled, but he didn't take it seriously. Many Xianjiao have outstanding talents, and are called the reincarnation of Zhenjin, the reincarnation of immortals, etc., but later it was proved that none of them were. But now, looking at it, there is a different feeling. Could he really be the reincarnation of the god-transforming venerable? Jin Liaozu pondered. In the cave, Lu Xuanji took out various materials and placed them on the ground. After adjusting his breath, he began to improve the grade of Bushanding. When Bushanding reached the 3rd grade, the number of runes inside was more complicated and varied, and the difficulty of refining was also doubled. It was quite difficult to refine. In the middle of the process, several mistakes were made, and some spiritual materials were lost. Fortunately, 3 months later, Bushanding exuded a crystal light, with a vast breath and a tide of light. The alchemy furnace was humming, and the talismans inside increased to 36, and each talisman was perfectly combined, mixed as one. Patting Bushanding, Lu Xuanji felt comfortable. "Xuanji, come to me." At this time, Jin Liaozu said in a voice transmission. Lu Xuanji stood up, packed up, and went to the cave. Jin Liaozu was wearing a white dress, with a swan-like slender neck, elegant and attractive, tall, graceful, swaying, shoulders like a knife, full and attractive chest, with unspeakable temptation, eyebrows and eyes, shining, with a hint of heroism, black hair tied up with a wooden hairpin, simple and unworldly, like a fairy from Yaochi, standing there. Lu Xuanji couldn't help but be stunned when he saw it. It was like a light cloud covering the moon, fluttering like snow in the wind. Looking from a distance, it was as bright as the sun rising in the morning glow. Looking closely, it was as bright as a lotus emerging from green waves. "Am I beautiful?" Jin Liaozu asked with a smile. Lu Xuanji restrained his distracting thoughts and lowered his head and said, "Old ancestor, you are naturally stunningly beautiful. What's the use of lowering your head? Raise your head." Old ancestor Jin still smiled. Lu Xuanji took a deep breath, raised his head, and saw the charming woman again. Somehow, it seemed that old ancestor Jin was too fierce and killed too many people. When the cultivators paid attention to her, they talked more about her sword skills and her advanced formations, and subconsciously ignored her beauty. "Do you like my beauty?" Old ancestor Jin asked. "Yes," Lu Xuanji said. "It's good to like it. There is nothing wrong with being greedy for beauty. If you don't even love beauty, are you still a human being?" Old ancestor Jin said calmly, "If you are the moment to prove the golden elixir, I will give you a chance to pursue me." Ahem. Lu Xuanji coughed, not knowing what to say. Bang. At this moment, old ancestor Jin dropped the corpse of a monster. The corpse was already cold, but it exuded a trace of terrifying pressure. The corpse of the purple mansion monster. Without saying much, Lu Xuanji threw the corpse of the purple mansion monster into the Bushanding, closed the lid, and then activated the Bushanding to start refining. The Bushanding is a 3rd grade spiritual tool, which requires a purple mansion cultivator to activate perfectly. When the foundation building cultivator activated it, it was a bit time consuming and laborious. After half a day, the holy corpse of the purple mansion monster was refined, and Lu Xuanji breathed slightly. The grade of the big cauldron is a bit high, and it is a bit laborious to activate it. Opening the lid of the cauldron, I saw a green airflow lying inside, which was bound by the big cauldron. If it leaves the big cauldron, it will dissipate in just 2 breaths. Is this the 3rd grade Bushan key? Ancestor Jin looked at the big cauldron. Her mind was stirring, and her body had a huge desire for this Bushan key. But she didn't move. Lu Xuanji opened her mouth and swallowed the Bushan key, sitting upright and starting to refine it. Time passed by little by little. The wounds on the soul were healed little by little. The hidden wounds on the body were healed, and the body became flawless. When the wounds were healed, the remaining key began to nourish the body and strengthen the body. Indistinctly, Lu Xuanji's physical condition improved a lot. 3 days later, Lu Xuanji ended his retreat and opened his eyes. Snap, snap. He moved his muscles and bones, and his bones were making a sharp sound. The wounds on the soul were healed, and he felt indescribably comfortable all over. At this moment, he felt dirty on his face, and black dead skin began to fall off. It smelled very bad. Go to the bathhouse and take a bath. Jin Liaozu smiled, waved his hand, and picked up Lu Xuanji and threw him into the pool after a few flashes. The pool exuded a fresh fragrance. The spring water was clear, and there was a spiritual charm flowing. Lu Xuanji lay inside and immediately felt comfortable. He quickly took off his clothes and began to wash. The dirt on his body began to fall off, and the dead skin began to fall off. He began to take a bath and was very happy. In the garden, Jin Liaozu was curious and tested the Bushanding. After careful inspection, it was just a 3rd grade spiritual tool. The material seemed ordinary and there was nothing special about it. But it was refining the monster beast and tempering the Bushan key, especially the blue Bushan key. Even her body felt longing. When Lu Xuanji was refining the blue Bushan key, she was also observing and analyzing it carefully. But she found that the Bushan key could not only repair injuries, but also make up for the defects of the flesh and enhance the potential and qualifications of life. Bushan key, it is worthy of the name of Bushan. Whoosh. He directly threw a purple mansion monster into it, urged the Bushanding, and began to refine it. But the big cauldron failed. It couldn't operate. It's somewhat similar to the bloodline spiritual treasure. Jin Liaozu thought. Among the magic weapons, there is a type called bloodline magic treasure. It can only be used by people with special bloodlines, and no one else can use it. Only Lu Xuanji can use the Bushanding, and no one else can use it. Chapter 138 Seeking the Pill. The surroundings were covered with flowers and plants, and in the center was a pool. The pool was like a lotus, cut with warm jade, and the water was flowing continuously. The water temperature was just right, and there were petals floating in the pool, exuding a faint fragrance. This seems to be. Sensing the location of the bathing pool, Lu Xuanji's eyes flashed with a trace of panic, and then there was a secret joy. After the bath, he arrived in the garden. Ancestor Jin was studying the Bushanding, but there was a trace of loss in his eyes. Bushan Qi can replace Yang Handan and treat the injuries of the soul. It is not only good for the Purple Mansion cultivators, but also good for me. Ancestor Jin said, but Bushan Qi is not easy to preserve. Can it be turned into a pill? Yes. Lu Xuanji nodded, but hesitated. Bushan Qi is in the form of gas, which is the easiest to absorb, with fast absorption efficiency and high efficiency. It can absorb more than the first 9 layers of medicine, but if it is turned into a pill, some medicinal materials need to be added to solidify it, but the absorption efficiency will decrease, and even the efficacy will decrease. It doesn't matter, it's good to save my life. Ancestor Jin nodded. What is the price of the pill, and how is it cost effective compared to Yang Handan? I don't know yet. Lu Xuanji said. What medicinal materials do you need? We have them here. Ancestor Jin said, make pills here, practice here. If you have any questions, I can give you some pointers. Thank you, Ancestor. Lu Xuanji said happily. It is very beneficial to have a Jiandan master to give you some pointers. In this way, he lived in Ancestor Jin's garden and began his alchemy career. The spiritual energy here is rich, more than 3 times that of Xiang Mountain. Not only is the spiritual energy rich, but it is also pure and flawless, and absorbs quickly. 1 day of cultivation here is equivalent to 3 days of cultivation on Chang'an. While practicing here, he refines the monsters and tempers the Key of the Sky. After taking the first dose of the Key of the Sky, it was completely refined in just a quarter of an hour. Ancestor Jin's complexion has improved a lot, and his face is also full of joy. Not bad, not bad. A blue Key of the Sky repaired my soul injury. I estimate that at least 100 blue Key of the Sky are needed to completely heal the soul injury. This is too much. Xuanji frowned. A lot. Not much at all. Ancestor Jin said calmly. In this battle, we killed 3 giant monsters, and 135 purple mansion monsters. Because of the war, some monster bodies were incomplete and could not be preserved, but it is not difficult to collect 100 monster bodies. In addition, I can purchase from other immortal cultivation families or Dandayang sect to obtain dozens of purple mansion monster bodies. It is not difficult. Ancestor Jin said calmly, as if he was talking about a small matter. Xuanji was speechless. That's right, different status, different pattern. Just like in the previous life, ordinary people may need to work hard for a lifetime, 99 or 60 years, to buy a house worth 1 million, but for some wealthy people, 1 million may just be the cost of a dinner party. Okay. Xuanji nodded. I will refine it for the ancestor right away. In this way, the boring and tedious life of refining monsters began. The corpses of monsters were refined one after another, and turned into a stream of replenishing weather. Every time a stream of replenishing weather was absorbed, Ancestor Jin's injury improved a little. In the distance, the mountains are surrounded together, and the continuous peaks are one after another. Some peaks are filled with sword energy, some peaks are filled with elixir energy, some peaks are rising with flames, some peaks are filled with murderous aura, and some peaks are flashing with golden light. There are spiritual fields and medicine gardens in the mountains, interspersed between the peaks. Beiyang rice, Jade Emperor rice, Shanling grass, deadleaf vines, Kanling flowers, Nirvana flowers, etc. Many spiritual medicines are planted in them in an orderly manner. There are miscellaneous disciples and outer disciples walking in them, taking care of the spiritual medicines. In the depths of the palace, there is a palace looming, suspended in the void, exuding a terrifying atmosphere, as if an ancient beast is sleeping in it. Chirp. At this moment, a huge crane comparable to a buffalo appeared, with a bright red head and 2 wings spread out, causing a group of storms. The crane's claws are as sharp as steel structures, which can cut gold and jade, and tear tigers and wolves alive. This is the Dandayang school. The great immortal sect of Chu State has many great giant and masters in charge, and is very famous. There is also a Yuanying ancestor who travels far away, and has no trace. On the surface, Dandayang sect has only 3 masters in charge, but if you really think there are only 3 giant and masters, you are wrong. It is like a certain country's nuclear arsenal. The exposed nuclear warheads are just the tip of the iceberg. The actual number of nuclear warheads far exceeds the published data. In the Dandayang hall, a man and a woman are sitting upright. The man was wearing a Taoist robe, but he looked old. He had a wisp of beard on his chin and a square scarf on his head. He said, Dao, I came here to ask for the 4th grade soul nourishing pill, but my Dandayang sect is also short of soul nourishing pills. Not to mention the 4th grade, even the 3rd grade is missing. This time the beast tide attacked. It was a bit fierce and chaotic, and the Dandayang sect suffered a lot of losses. As for the Purple Mansion cultivators, there were 83 dead. Even the 2 ancestors were injured. Only Elder Kain was not injured, and his combat power was at the peak. These are only those who died in the battle. As for the seriously injured cultivators and the slightly injured cultivators, they are countless. Those fallen cultivators are still easier to deal with. They can be compensated with Foundation Establishment pills, Pure Yang pills, Purple Mansion pills, etc. But those seriously injured cultivators, if they are not treated, will be in danger of falling, or their foundation will be damaged, and there will be no hope for the path of Taoism. Because of these reasons, the price of healing pills has been rising recently. Many healing pills have just been produced, and are digested internally. The Dandayang sect is also short of elixirs. If Ancestor Jin has top level healing elixirs, you can sell them to the Danliang sect at least twice the price, even 3 times is fine. Sun B Wang, the head of the Danliang sect, was complaining about the recent scarcity of elixirs. The Danliang sect started out by refining elixirs. Refining elixirs is not difficult, but the difficulty is the shortage of medicinal materials. We need to go out to buy them, and there may not be any goods. Many medicinal materials are not old enough, and are still growing in the spiritual fields. There are spiritual plant masters who can ripen the spiritual medicines, which can speed up their growth, but it will take some time after all. If Ancestor Jin has suitable medicinal materials, I can start refining the elixir now, and refine the soul nourishing pill. Not only will I not have to pay for refining the elixir, but I will also subsidize some of the expenses for Ancestor Jin. Is there really no 4th grade soul nourishing pill? Long Xuan did not ask why, but asked for the answer directly. No more. When will it be available? After 30 years, when the medicinal materials are mature, there will definitely be a 4th grade soul nourishing pill. Sun B Wang said, worth 4 million spiritual stones. Okay. Long Xuan nodded. After saying goodbye, she left and headed towards Xiang Mountain. In the hall, only Sun B Wang was left. At this moment, an old man walked out of the shadows, with a few strands of white hair on his head, but full of energy and spirit. He said, she's gone. She's gone. Sun B Wang said, Master, is there any point in doing this? It makes sense. The old man said, you don't know how powerful Fairy Xuanji is. She is only over 300 years old, but she has reached the 7th level of the Golden Core, and has a 5-level probability of impacting the nascent soul. However, she is too proud. She is not satisfied with the mere 7th level, but wants the 8th level, or even the 9th level. If it weren't for the pride of a genius and her blind pursuit of perfection, she would have become a nascent soul true lord long ago. It's true that the 4th grade soul nourishing pill is hard to come by, but it's not that Fairy Xuanji can't get it. She just doesn't want to pay a price. What we have to do is to delay for a while. The soul nourishing pill can be given to her, but not now. It has to be given in 30 years. You can trip up Fairy Xuanji, but you have to know when to stop, and don't go too far. When talking about Fairy Xuanji, there was envy and jealousy in the old man's eyes, but more of a trick that succeeded. Geniuses pursue perfection too much, and pursue further progress. This is an advantage, but the advantage will turn into a fatal flaw. How can it be so easy to achieve the 8th level of the golden elixir? It is better to let her spend too much time on it, and finally it will be in vain, but it will affect her entry into the nascent soul realm. This calculation is not brilliant, but it wins in practicality. Chapter 139. I'll kill you while you're sick. In a manor in the state of Chu. From the outside, it is just an inconspicuous manor of a rich man. There are fertile fields, willow trees, wells, ponds, ditches, etc. around the manor, which looks well groomed, unique and elegant. Around the manor, there are farmers plowing the land and dealing with weeds in the field. Inside the manor, in a courtyard, there are array patterns, illusion arrays, attack arrays, defense arrays, etc., which are combined together. Even a giant and cultivator can hardly break through it in a short time. In the center of the courtyard, there is a blood pool. In the blood pool, there is a lot of blood in the gurgling gas. The blood does not have a foul smell, but has a faint fragrance. The blood in the blood pool is extracted from the monsters and concentrated into blood essence, which contains huge life functions. If such a blood pool is built in peacetime, it is almost impossible to build it. However, with the arrival of the beast tide, the human race and the monster race fought, and a large number of cultivators and monsters fell. Is it possible to build such a blood pool? In the blood pool, there was a woman with a graceful figure, soaking in the blood pool. She closed her eyes comfortably, and practiced the technique, to refine the blood essence. A trace of blood essence melted into her body, bones, flesh, internal organs, meridians, danshan, mana, soul, golden elixir, etc., all undergoing a comprehensive transformation. It was slowly and steadily transforming. Especially in the danshan position, the golden elixir was slowly operating and compressing. On the golden elixir, there were 5 elixir patterns. The 5 elixir patterns represented the 5th transformation of the golden elixir. Buzz. At this moment, the token in her arms rang, and the blood-changing witch opened her eyes and pointed her mind at the token. Some words appeared on the token. Good news. Fairy Xuanji was besieged by monsters and was seriously injured by the Golden Crow Demon King, and her soul was injured. It was a weak moment. If we take action, we will kill Fairy Xuanji and avenge our hatred. The information transmitted from the token came from the White Bone Demon Lord. How serious is her injury? The blood-transformed demon lady's thoughts flashed, and she engraved the information on it and sent it over. She was hit by the supreme magical power Chaos Bell, and her injuries were serious. She can only use the 7th level of combat power. If she takes the soul nourishing pill, she can recover from her injuries in 30 years of recuperation. But if she doesn't have the soul nourishing pill, her injuries will worsen and affect her foundation. Now is the moment when she is the weakest, and the moment when she is most likely to be killed. If we wait until she enters the nascent soul stage, we can only go far away. The White Bone Demon Lord sent a message. How many people took action? There are at least 5 giant and cultivators who took action, and 1 half-step nascent soul. The blood-transformed demon lady was a little moved when the message came. I will think about it for a long time and then reply to you. After the blood-transformed demon lady sent the last message on the token was closed. Thinking about the message, the blood-transformed demon lady hesitated. Fairy Xuanji was injured. This was the best opportunity, but how serious her injury was unknown. It is also possible that she deliberately spread some false information to the outside world to fish and kill some enemies. At the Giandan realm, the gap between cultivators is very small. Even if they cannot beat each other, they can escape in time. Unless they encounter the enemy's trap and are trapped in the formation and cannot escape for a while, they will be killed. Fairy Xuanji is a top formation master. She is best at using formations to besiege the enemy, divide the opponent, and give the opponent a fatal blow. Of course, it is not ruled out that Fairy Xuanji is really seriously injured and in danger of death. But it is precisely because of the serious injury that Fairy Xuanji is much more dangerous. A trapped beast still fights. When in a desperate situation, once you no longer care about other things, you may drag 2 or 3 giant to be buried with you. Activating the token, the void flashed, and a purple-haired woman appeared. She had a graceful figure, wearing a black leather jacket, and a huge chest. Her footsteps stepped on the ground, as if stepping on cotton, empty and fast. Greetings, Master. Investigate the news about Fairy Xuanji. Yes. The purple-haired woman nodded, turned into a black cat and disappeared. This woman is a great demon of the Purple Mansion. Her body is a nether cat. In terms of combat power, she ranks at the bottom among those of the same realm, but she is good at invisibility and lurking, and is good at assassination. She is the best helper for getting information. Half a day later, the purple-haired woman came back and told the intelligence. Sorry, I have to strive for the 5th turn of the Golden Core, and I don't have time. The blood-changing witch responded and refused the request. In a certain city, above a brothel, there was a handsome man holding a folding fan in his hand, watching the women singing and dancing below. The beautiful music of the courtesan was like flowing water. The dancer's graceful body was charming and intoxicating. The world is intoxicating. At this time, the token on the waist rang. The blood-changing witch refused. The White Bone Demon Lord frowned. He contacted other people again, but only 3 agreed, and the others refused. The half-step Yuanying of the zombie demon sect agreed readily, but the White Bone Demon Lord hesitated. Although they were together in the siege of Fairy Xuanji, they had their own thoughts and calculated against each other. If there was a chance, they would not mind using a knife to kill. With the help of the enemy, they killed their comrades. Time passed, and more than a month passed in the blink of an eye. Ancestor Jin absorbed the Bushan Ki, and the injury of his soul was recovering. But after absorbing 50 Bushan Ki, he said, "Don't give it to me. The remaining Bushan Ki can be refined into Bushan Dan." "Why is that?" Lu Xuanji asked. "Only 50 Bushan Ki. The injury has only improved, and there is still a distance from recovery. The injury is getting better, and it will be healed in 30 years at most." Ancestor Jin said, "Some of my disciples are still seriously injured in this battle, and they need Bushan Ki even more." Understood. Lu Xuanji nodded and said, I need some medicinal materials. Wait a moment. Ancestor Jin nodded and took some medicinal materials. Throwing these herbs into the big cauldron, he began to refine them into liquid medicine and began to melt them. The Bushan Qi merged with these liquid medicines and began to turn into Bushan Dan. The herbs mixed in Bushan Dan were mainly auxiliary, which could better preserve the Bushan Qi and prevent it from dispersing easily. As for the difficulty of refining, it was not that difficult. About 3 months later, the alchemy was finished. There were about 45 Bushan Dan. Some of the pills were damaged due to insufficient control of the fire. Not bad, not bad. Ancestor Jin nodded and said, Bushan Dan is of the 3rd grade and can heal the injuries of Purple Mansion cultivators. As long as the Purple Mansion cultivator still has a breath, he can rely on Bushan Dan to come back to life. For a Purple Mansion cultivator, it is no less than a life. Even the injuries of Jindan can be cured. Chapter 140 Fear of Death. In the garden, hundreds of flowers are in full bloom, and a faint fragrance of flowers wafts in, which is melancholy and fresh. Ancestor Jin asked, can you refine a 4th grade Bushan Qi? No. Lu Xuanji said directly, to refine a 4th grade Bushan Qi, one needs the corpse of a golden elixir monster, and the other needs the Bushan Ding to reach the 4th grade. These 2 conditions cannot be met for the time being. What a pity. Ancestor Jin felt a little sorry. He took out a purple gold gourd. The gourd was purple gold, more than 1 foot high, and the yin yang Teikai diagram was engraved on its belly. When the gourd mouth was opened, a burst of medicinal fragrance came immediately. Just 1 sip was enough to make one feel intoxicated. This gourd is called the purple gold medicine gourd. It is a 4th grade spiritual treasure. There is a large array of medicine raising inside the gourd. If the elixir is stored in it, not only will the efficacy not decrease, but it can be preserved for a longer time. The only disadvantage is that the space is limited. It can only store 100 elixirs at most. Ancestor Jin said, introducing the efficacy of this purple gold gourd. Pills all have a shelf life. Foundation building pills can be preserved for 10 years. Pure yang pills can be preserved for 15 years. Purple Mansion pills can be preserved for 20 years, and Nirvana pills can be preserved for 30 years. If you arrange pill close and patterns on the outside of the pill, you can extend the shelf life of the pill. But after a period of time, the pill will lose its efficacy or even decay. This is also why some cultivators, after entering the cave of their predecessors, opened the Danliang bottle and found that the pills were decayed and smelly, and they could no longer be taken normally. Unless they are stored in a medicine gourd, which specifically nourishes the pills, they can be preserved for a long time. This purple gold gourd is a medicine gourd. Pills stored in it can be preserved for 200 years. The internal space of the purple gold gourd is limited. It can store up to 100 pills. Low-grade pills have no chance to enter it. Only valuable and precious pills can be stored in it. Nothing here. Juniors can say goodbye and leave. At this time, Lu Xuanji said, should I say goodbye? Patriarch Jin thought, I'd better stay here for a while. Because of your key boosting spell, I only need 30 years to recover. I owe you a favor. I was going to compensate you with something, but you have enough spirit stones, elixirs, and everything else. Why not stay here and practice for a while? I need 30 years to recuperate. I have nothing to do in my spare time, so I can give you some advice. Thank you, Patriarch. Lu Xuanji said worriedly, it takes 30 years to recover. Your injury is so serious. Very serious. Patriarch Jin said, back then, the blood transforming witch, the bone demon lord, the zombie demon lord, and the 3 great giant and demon cultivators attacked. Although I defeated the enemy, I was also injured. In the battle to kill the white tiger demon king, I was injured again. When it came to the battle at Teeling Pass, I was besieged by the 6 demon kings and ambushed by the golden crow demon king. I was already seriously injured. If there was no soul nourishing pill, I could only hold on for 200 years at most, or I would die. The situation is so critical. Lu Xuanji choked, and his palms were sweating. When a big shot sneezes, the little guys below will suffer. Originally, it was thought that Jin Liaozu was only slightly injured, but the injury was so serious. After taking Bushan Qi, the injury has healed as many as 7 layers. The remaining 3 layers need to be slowly recuperated. It will take about 30 years to heal. Jin Liaozu smiled. His smile was particularly bright. You are my lucky star. If there are demon cultivators, they will take advantage of the ancestor's serious injury to attack. Then the situation will be bad. Lu Xuanji said worriedly. It doesn't matter, they won't. Jin Liaozu said calmly. His tone was very firm. What do you think of giant cultivators? Ask the ancestor for advice. Lu Xuanji said. Patriarch Jin said, the lifespan of a giant cultivator is more than 1,000 years old. If they take some longevity pills, it will not be a problem for them to live to 1,200 years old. Because of their long lifespan, they hold great power and enjoy the bliss of the world, so they are extremely afraid of death. Immortal Jinden, Demon Jinden, and Demon Jinden all have a common feature, which is fear of death. Even I'm afraid of death. Rather die than surrender. Fight to the end. This is a bottom level cultivator. When faced with danger, Jinden cultivators run faster than anyone else. Because they are afraid of death, Jinden cultivators do not have major conflicts of interest and rarely fight each other. Even if they fight, they will calculate this battle so as not to bring death to themselves. I came back seriously injured. According to the thinking of the bottom level cultivators, some enemies will take the opportunity to surround and kill me. When I'm weak, they will kill me. As the saying goes, take advantage of your illness to kill you. But that is only the idea of the bottom level cultivators, and it does not represent the ideas of the giant cultivators. The giant cultivators will think whether this is a trap or a deliberate bait. Even if they are sure that I'm seriously injured, they will think about it. What if I have some trump cards and killer moves to trap them to death? Even if I don't have a trump card or a killer move, if I'm pushed into a corner and self-destruct my Jinden, I can also drag 2 or 3 Jinden cultivators to be buried with me. They won't come. Their fear of death is beyond your imagination. Jin Patriarch said calmly. He was not ashamed at all when he talked about the moment of fear of death. He said it as a matter of course and with confidence. Lu Xuanji listened and was speechless. Shouldn't the Jinden Patriarch be determined and indifferent to death? Shouldn't the Jinden Patriarch be brave and fearless and sacrifice their lives one by one? Why are you more afraid of death than the other? Ancestor, you are the Jinden Patriarch. You are so afraid of death. Where is your invincible Taoism? Lu Xuanji couldn't help but say. Invincible Dao heart. Ancestor Jin was amused when he heard it and said, that's just something we old guys boasted about when we fooled you kids. You can treat it as a joke, but don't take it seriously. It's not shameful to be afraid of death. Only by being alive can you have everything. Baelinger, the genius of the demon clan, was defeated by you, and she ran away immediately and never entangled. The Golden Crow demon defeated Jinyuan by you, but he didn't pester him and left immediately. They are also extremely afraid of death. Not long ago, I got a message that Baelinger has become the Purple Mansion Demon King, and Jinyuan has also broken the shackles and become the Purple Mansion Demon King. Can you still beat them now? Or, at that time, they fought to the death for the dignity of the so-called genius, and were finally killed by you. Are they like this now? Ancestor Jin warned earnestly, saying a truth in the world of cultivation. The winner is the king, not as good as the survivor. The world of cultivation never pursues invincibility in the same realm, nor does it pursue undefeated for life, but pursues living. Only by being alive can there be hope. But she discovered that Lu Xuanji was very immature and stubborn. He would often fight for life and death for some vain things. This was not good, very bad. If you want to live well in the world of cultivation, you must first learn to be selfish and give up some unnecessary vain things. Chapter 141 Long Xuan returns. In the garden, hundreds of flowers were in full bloom, red and white mixed together, with a faint fragrance. Ancestor Jin was wearing a white dress, with a butterfly bun on her head. Her eyebrows were slightly black, after being drawn with an eyebrow pencil, and she was wearing embroidered shoes. She sat on the swing very casually, and talked about some inside stories of the golden elixir. After achieving the golden core, even the nascent soul true lord will respect the golden core cultivator. If the golden core cultivator is forced into a desperate situation, if he self-destructs his golden core, the nascent soul cultivator will be seriously injured or even killed. In history, there are many cases of golden core cultivators blowing up their nascent souls. Patriarch Jin said, at the beginning, when the 3 golden core demon cultivators attacked, the Black Corpse Demon Lord was interrupted by me when he was about to self-destruct, and he failed to self-destruct, and was killed by me. When the White Tiger Demon King was killed by me, he also wanted to self-destruct, but failed. When we reached the battle at Teeling Pass, I killed 2 golden core demon kings, and when I was about to kill the 3rd one, that golden core demon king self-destructed and came over. As a result, 2 demon kings were seriously injured, 1 demon king was killed, and only 1 demon king escaped successfully. Even I was seriously injured. Don't look down on Giant cultivators, just because I killed many Giant cultivators. Don't think that the demon race is Giant is nothing special. Every cultivator who can enter the Giant stage is a genius. They are all first class in talent, will, luck, and state of mind. At Teeling Pass, the 6 demon kings besieged me. They seemed to be numerous, but they had their own ideas. Some even wanted to kill someone with a borrowed knife. So, I used a formation to isolate them for a moment, and then defeated them one by one. If they worked together, I would have escaped in embarrassment. Those Giant cultivators missed the time to self-destruct because of their hesitation. Otherwise I might not be able to kill them. Xuanji understands. Lu Xuanji nodded. I had a slight headache. The big bosses of Giant have a lot of thoughts. Just like in the past life, those poor people, who were so poor that they wanted money, but not their lives, naturally showed off their strength and fought fiercely, fearless of death, and would carry a blade to chop people at any time. But those top rich people, top dignitaries, who is not extremely cherishing life and extremely afraid of death, have to eat healthy meals for 3 meals a day, have health doctors to check their bodies regularly. When they travel, they have to carry a group of bodyguards and ride in bulletproof cars. Will these people carry blades, chop people on the street, and fight for life and death? It is impossible. They all cherish their lives. Living for a few decades is not enough. They want to live another 500 years. Giant and monks can live for thousands of years, hold power, and live a more affluent life. It is impossible for them to fight like those low-level casual cultivators and fearless of death. Giant and monks can seriously injure Yuanying by self-destructing their Giant. But if they are afraid of death and hesitate a little, they may fail to self-destruct and be killed by the enemy. Hey. Jin Liaozu suddenly felt something and smiled. Long Xuan is back. A moment later, Long Xuan appeared, dusty and tired. Miss, I'm sorry to disappoint you. I went to several places in a row, but there was no soul-nourishing pill. But Danliang sect promised that when the medicinal materials mature in 30 years, they will definitely make a soul-nourishing pill for you. No need. Jin Liaozu said, I'm lucky. Xuanji gave me a pill recipe called Bushan pill. I use this pill recipe as a basis to make a Bushan pill. After taking it, my injuries have healed. A trace of terrifying aura was emitted, and then it was restrained. Congratulations, Miss. Long Xuan congratulated. How is the effect of the medicine? How is it compared to the soul nourishing pill? And how is it compared to the jade pill? The effect is better than them. How much is the price? The price is a preferential price of 200,000 spirit stones. Jin Liaozu said. Miss, be merciful. Long Xuan said. The 3rd grade soul nourishing pill can heal injuries to the soul and costs 300,000 spiritual stones. The 3rd grade jade pill can heal injuries to the body and costs 250,000 spiritual stones. The effect of the heaven nourishing pill is better than these, but the price is only 200,000 spiritual stones, which is a welfare price. Miss, you may lose some spiritual stones. The war has just ended, and many high-level elixirs are in short supply. There is no stock at all. At this time, it is not a question of whether to increase the price or not, but there is no stock to buy. After learning about the heaven nourishing pill, the monks of Xiang Mountain came to exchange it, took the heaven nourishing pill, and refined the medicinal power. As the medicinal power was refined, the injuries were recovering rapidly. Originally, it would take 5 years of recuperation to recover. As a result, after taking the heaven nourishing pill, it was cured in just 3 months. Soon, the reputation of the heaven-nourishing pill was also spread outside, and monks came to ask for the pill one after another. Ancestor Jin directly offered a price of 500,000 spiritual stones, but such a high price did not scare those monks, but the number of people increased. It was not until the 10 Bushandan were sold that the old Ancestor Jin announced that there were no more, and then the noise gradually stopped. Thanks to you. A few days later, the old Ancestor Jin said, rewards should be given for merits, and punishments should be given for faults. Because of the merits of the Bushandan, I will open up some permissions to you. You can browse books in the library. You can practice in seclusion in the third-class cave heaven. You will be given priority in refining pills, but you will only be charged for the cost. Except for a few restricted areas, you can move freely in most areas. Thank you, old ancestor. Lu Xuanji said respectfully. Long Xuan, take him to the library, said the old ancestor. Young master, this way. Long Xuan said with a smile. Thank you, Sister Long Xuan, said Lu Xuanji. Just like that, one after the other, they left. As they walked, Long Xuan introduced, the cave library opened by the old ancestor is called Shui Cave Heaven. There are all kinds of books there. How much you can comprehend depends on your luck. When they arrived at the door of the cave, there was no guard guarding. Lu Xuanji was slightly surprised and said, the library is the important place of the sect. Why is there no strong guard? Whether it is a family or a sect, the library is the important place of the family. Just like the library of the Lu family, it has always been guarded by the foundation building elders. Because it is not needed. Long Xuan said, there is a killing array set up in the library. Be careful to die in it. After saying that, she disappeared. There is something wrong. I don't seem to have offended this person. Lu Xuanji's eyes flashed with a trace of doubt and confusion. Long Xuan is a half-step golden elixir, just a little away from the golden elixir realm, and her strength is extremely terrifying. In the past, Long Xuan was quite enthusiastic about him, but in recent days, she has been very indifferent to him. That kind of indifference seems to be able to freeze people to death. Some doubts, but still with caution, pushed open the door of the library and entered it. In the garden, there is a mirror, and the image in the mirror is exactly the picture of Lu Xuanji in the library. Ancestor Jin sat on the swing and watched with interest. At this moment, a young girl appeared silently, dressed in white like snow, cold and proud like frost, and said, Miss, have you really decided? Thinking about it? Ancestor Jin said calmly. However, Long Xuan's heart skipped a beat. It was only 3 years since they last met. Why did the young lady become like this? Chapter 142, Watermoon Cave. In the garden, Jin Leozu said casually, but Long Xuan flashed a trace of impatience. It was only 3 months since they last met, and the young lady had changed. She was different. If it weren't for the similar souls and origins, I would have thought she was possessed. Recently, the young lady smiled more often, loved to dress up, and changed her clothes frequently. Young lady, have you really chosen him? Long Xuan asked. Yes. Jin Leozu said calmly. We came from Zhongzhou. Our families were destroyed, and we became stray dogs. What qualifications do we have to talk about love between men and women? Long Xuan said, Miss, have you forgotten the hatred of the extermination of your family? I dare not forget it. I dare not forget it at any time. Ancestor Jin said, with hatred flashing in his eyes. The Jin family was destroyed, and this hatred and hatred are hard to forget, even if all the water in the 9 heavens is poured out. Back then, my father hid my identity, so I escaped death. These years, I have escaped to the East Wilderness, and I have always remembered the hatred. I always want revenge, but I have lost the resources of my family, and my cultivation speed has become very slow. Now I'm only at the 8th level of the Golden Core. The 8th level of the Golden Core is known as the qualification for the transformation of the spirit. But it is not enough, still not enough. Only the 9th level of the Golden Core can avenge you. Miss, the 8th level of the Golden Core is already the limit of your qualifications. Even the head of the family is only at the 8th level of the Golden Core, and that is with the help of the resources of the Jin family. I have come to this wild land with scarce resources. It is a miracle that you can break the shackles and enter the 8th level. As for the 9th transformation, it's absolutely impossible. Long Xuan said. The 9 transformations of the golden elixir. Each transformation leads to a new level. The difficulty of the first few transformations is not too great, but the difficulty of the last few transformations is doubled. The 7th transformation is like a dragon, the 8th transformation is like the sky, and the 9th transformation is the ultimate. The 9th transformation of the golden elixir is said to be the talent of immortals. How can it be achieved by mortals? After arriving in the eastern wasteland, in the case of scarce resources, it is already a miracle to become the 8th transformation of the golden elixir. As for the 9th transformation, it is almost impossible. If I can't achieve the 9th transformation, how can I take revenge? The old ancestor Jin smiled, with a hint of melancholy in his smile. The enemy in the past was a venerable incarnation of the spirit, with tyrannical strength and terrible cultivation. After dividing the territory of the Jin family, the power will be greater and more powerful people can be cultivated. We have drifted to the East Wilderness, where resources are scarce, and yuanying is rare. It is not difficult to achieve yuanying, but there is little hope of achieving the transformation of the spirit. Long Xuan was silent for a long time and said, "Miss, what are your plans?" The old ancestor Jin said, "If you want to take revenge, you need to do 2 things. First, I will enter the 9th transformation of the golden elixir and lay the foundation for becoming an immortal. Second, cultivate some peerless geniuses as helpers. Over the years, I have cultivated the 12 sword servants. They have outstanding qualifications and are expected to achieve the golden elixir in the future, and even the yuanying has a glimmer of hope. In addition, I have secretly cultivated some forces as my backup." Long Xuan was slightly happy. The young lady has grown up. She knows something about the 12 sword servants, but she doesn't know about some other secret forces. It's best not to know. This proves that the young lady has grown up, knows how to hide her thoughts, secretly cultivates some forces, and cultivates a series of trump cards. "Xuana, what do you think of Lu Xuanji?" Long Xuan asked. "He is very good." Long Xuan said, "He has good qualifications, amazing comprehension, a human race genius, and has a chance to become a golden elixir." "Is it just a chance to become a golden elixir?" Jin Liaozu smiled and said, "I bet that he can prove the way to the 9-turn golden elixir in the future, and can become a god transforming venerable in the future. Miss, just believe him like this." Long Xuan asked curiously, "He is just a 5th level foundation building, and may die in an accident or die in the Purple Mansion calamity. Take a gamble. Can he get a chance on the 7th floor of the library?" Jin Liaozu said calmly without explaining anything. "Okay. Then take a gamble." Long Xuan said. Entering the Shuai cave heaven, I saw here that there were large bookshelves with books on them. Books are forged with special paper, which can remain immortal for 10,000 years. Lu Xuanji was delighted as he roughly flipped through the books. The books here involve various essays, notes, and experiences, etc. It is difficult to distinguish true from false, but it has greatly expanded his horizons. The books here are made of paper, jade, bamboo, stone tablets, tortoise shells, etc., and they are scattered among each other. The mobile phone is constantly recording, but soon there is a jamming sound. The storage space of the mobile phone is full. 1,000,000 books have been stored. Please clean up in time. Sensing the changes in the mobile phone, Lu Xuanji began to clean up the space. Destiny deduction. Deduce the most suitable book to read. Lu Xuanji looked at so many books, and his scalp was numb. He didn't know which book to read. Soon, destiny deduction gave a book. Lu Xuanji flipped through a book, which said the origin of immortal Dao. In ancient times, immortals came to this world and passed down the method of cultivating immortals. At that time, the spiritual energy was rich and pure. Only 100 days of training could build a foundation, which was called a 100-day foundation. After building the foundation, refine the spirit, energy, and spirit. When the spirit is perfect, it is the early stage of building the foundation. When the true essence is perfect, it is the middle stage of building the foundation. When the spirit is perfect, it is the late stage of building the foundation. After the late stage of building the foundation, you can directly break the shackles and enter the golden elixir. At that time, there is no need for any auxiliary elixir, and you can directly break through the barriers and enter the golden elixir. Everyone can cultivate immortality. Everyone can build the foundation, and adulthood is a golden elixir. In the ancient times, the spiritual energy declined, and cultivation became difficult. Building the foundation became the privilege of a few cultivators, and the difficulty of achieving the golden elixir was increasing. In the ancient times, the outer demons attacked and wanted to destroy this world. There were ancient powers who fought back and defeated the outer demons. The outer demons were destroyed, but there were also seeds of magic scattered in this world, which became the origin of the magic in this world. In the Middle Ages, there were Xuanji who created the foundation building elixir, the golden elixir, and the infant transforming elixir, to reduce the difficulty of the road. There were also cultivators who opened up the purple mansion realm between the foundation building and the golden elixir, to reduce the difficulty of impacting the golden elixir, from 1 in 1,000 to 1 in 100. It also describes the terrain of this world, the 5 seas and the 7 continents. The 5 seas are the Storm Sea, the Chaos Sea, the Absolute Abyss Sea, the Chaos Star Sea, and the Death Sea. The 7 continents are Yuanzhao, Zhuzhao, Manzhao, Desolate Continent, Yaozhao, Changzhao, and Bihanzhao. The area of the 5 seas is much larger than the 7 continents. Similarly, the sea contains more resources and more monsters. Among the 7 continents, Yuanzhao and Zhuzhao are mainly human races, and monsters live in some large mountains and dangerous places, but in Manzhao, Desolate Continent, and Yaozhao, the monsters are mainly monsters, and the monsters there have established monster kingdoms. As for Changzhao, it is mainly insect monsters. Bihanzhao is a world dominated by ice and snow, cold and sparsely populated. Only a few ice and snow monsters, or ice spirit root cultivators appear in it. The world is very large. It is said that a god transforming master needs to fly for 1,000 years to reach the ground from the east of the world. At this time, the area where Xuanji is located in the east of Yuanzhao. The state of Chu was just a small cultivation country in the eastern part of Yuanzhao. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelos. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 143, The Broken 5th Rank Spiritual Treasure. After closing this book, Xuanji looked through other books. One of them was called 9 Transformations of the Golden Elixir, which talked about the types of golden elixirs. There is no regret for golden elixirs. Once a golden elixir is condensed, it is the choice of the path, and there is no right to regret. According to the attributes of the spiritual roots and the attributes of the skills, different types of golden elixirs are condensed, such as Lihua Golden Elixir, Zhengjin Golden Elixir, Liangai Golden Elixir, Sankei Golden Elixir, Sixiang Golden Elixir, Samsara Golden Elixir, 5-Element Golden Elixir, Sword Elixir, etc. It is easiest to condense a golden elixir with only one attribute for the spiritual roots and the spiritual roots. For the 2 spiritual roots, the 3 spiritual roots, etc. When condensing the golden elixir, the attribute conflict must be considered at all times, and it is quite difficult to make different attributes blend perfectly. It is the most difficult to condense a golden elixir with 5 spiritual roots. When condensing the golden elixir, one must understand the way of birth and death of the 5 element, and have perfect control over the 5 major attributes. There is no difference between the different types of golden elixirs, and the only ones who are strong and weak are the cultivators. After condensing the golden elixir must be continuously compressed to improve the purity of the mana. Compression 9 times in a row is called the 9 transformations of the golden elixir. Only after the 7th transformation, one is qualified to attack the nascent soul. However, due to insufficient foundation, the hope of achieving the divine transformation in the future is slim. At the 8th transformation, it is also called the divine transformation seed. At the 8th transformation of the golden core, there is a 3-level chance to achieve the divine transformation in the future. At the 9th transformation, it is also called the immortal seed, which lays a glimmer of hope for becoming an immortal. 7th transformation, 8th transformation, 9th transformation, each one is more difficult than the last. It is quite difficult to achieve the golden core. On average, only 1 or 2 out of 100 golden core cultivators can become the nascent soul. I continued to flip through the books and found that it was recorded again. Above the 9th transformation, there are 10th transformation, 11th transformation, and 12th transformation, which are no longer a realm that mortals can reach. According to legend, the top physiques such as the descendants of immortals, pure-blooded divine beasts, the supreme immortal body, and the chaos body require extremely huge consumption of resources to be qualified to enter such a realm. I wonder what levels Ayalaksu can achieve when she condenses the golden elixir in the future. Legend has it that the Jin Patriarch is a 7th turn golden elixir and is known as a true lord. I wonder what level I can condense in the future. Xuanji pondered and quickly gathered his distracting thoughts and stopped thinking about them. He was only at the 5th level of foundation building and he didn't need to think about these profound things. He gathered his thoughts, cut off his distracting thoughts, and flipped through other books. He kept flipping through the books, one after another. There were no exercises, no secrets, no magical powers in the books. They were just notes telling about some strange people, strange things, and strange things in this world. Flipping through these books, his vision was opened up, and his pattern was opened up. It was eye-opening. It turned out that the Chu state was just a remote small country on Yuanzhou. Yuanzhou was just one of the 7 continents. The Purple Mansion realm seemed vast and huge, but it was just an insignificant world in the vast and endless void. Above the Purple Mansion realm, there was also the Immortal realm. Immersed in the books, I didn't feel tired. Ancestor Jin, who was secretly observing, also put away the mirror and stopped peeping. About 3 days later, his spirit was a little tired. Xuanji meditated and closed his eyes to cultivate. After resting for an hour, he continued to flip through the books. In this way, 3 months passed. Among them, some disciples came and browsed in the library. Some went directly to the 2nd floor. Because the 1st floor was just some basic knowledge. The 2nd floor involved some key refining and foundation building techniques and secrets. The 3rd floor involved some techniques and secrets of the Purple Mansion. The 4th floor involved some techniques and secrets of the Golden Pill. 4 months later, Xuanji went to the 2nd floor. There were less than 1,000 books on the 2nd floor. Xuanji flipped through them roughly and swept through them. When he reached the 3rd floor, there were even fewer books, less than 100, but there were 9 more Taoist tablets. On the Taoist tablets, 9 great magical powers were recorded. Pure Yang Heavenly Fire, Sun Heavenly Fire, Great Freedom Jengjin Sword, Sunflower Water Divine Thunder, Heavenly Wood Great Law, Immortal Golden Body, 9 Palaces Divine Format, 1 Yuan Water Mine, Phantom Clone. Some disciples sat in front of the stone tablet and comprehended it like sculptures. Xuanji's mind flashed, but he just took a look and didn't pay attention because it was not necessary. He had already practiced Heavenly Wood Great Law, Pure Yang Heavenly Fire, Yuan Magnetic Heavenly Sword, etc., and the attack and killing skills were enough. There was no need to learn other great magical powers before proving the golden elixir so as not to bite off more than he could chew. It is better to learn deeply than to learn a lot. He did not need these skills. His figure flashed and was about to leave. But in the next moment, the golden token flashed and disappeared, and it had appeared on the 4th floor. There were even fewer books on the 4th floor, only more than 20. Xuanji was a little curious, but he still went forward to flip through them. The 5 Element Sutra, the Mysterious Sutra, the Liangai Sutra, the 4 Symbols Sutra, the Tengsh Sutra, etc. These techniques can be practiced all the way to the peak of the nascent soul. Record it directly with your phone. The golden token flashed and entered the 5th floor. On the 5th floor, there are 2 Taoist tablets. They are engraved with Great 5 Element Divine Thunder and Time Flowing Sword. They are supreme magical powers. The Great 5 Element Divine Thunder, when it strikes, draws the energy of the 5 element of heaven and earth, transforming into Gishu Divine Thunder, Bingho Divine Thunder, Yamu Divine Thunder, Wutu Divine Thunder, Jengjin Divine Thunder, and the 5 great divine thunders merge into one, attacking fiercely. The Time Sword Art. A sword can kill with one sword and can cut off the life of the cultivator. But it seems that these two supreme magical powers are not as good as the Great Five Element Yin Yang Yuan Magnetic Universe Extinction Divine Sword in pure attack and killing. Record it on the phone again. At this moment, the golden token rang, and the voice of the golden ancestor came. You can enter the 7th floor, where your fortune is. How to enter the next floor? Xuanji looked around, trying to find stairs, doors, etc. But after searching for a while, he couldn't find it at all. Destiny deduction. Xuanji said. Destiny deduction. This is a supreme spiritual treasure, at least a 5th grade spiritual treasure. The spiritual treasure encountered a war. Many parts were damaged, incomplete, and the power was greatly reduced. The spirit of the spiritual treasure died in the war, and the spirit was missing. The 5th grade spiritual treasure is the benchmark for the Yuanying's engine. But many Yuanying's engine only use 4th grade spiritual treasures. Only old-fashioned engine have 5th grade spiritual treasures. Although it is broken, it is still very valuable. But, at this moment, a light gate appeared in front, which seemed to lead to an unknown place. In front of the light gate, a shadow appeared. The shadow was condensing, and turned into an old man, with a hunched body, standing there with his back to him. The old man turned around and asked, "What is Tao? What is Tao?" Xuanji was silent. He thought for less than 3 breaths, and his eyes turned into a firmness. "I'm Tao." "What a arrogant boy. Take my sword. If you don't die with one sword, it's your luck," the old man said indifferently. Although it was an illusory shadow, at this moment, it exuded a trace of destructive breath. This sword is called the Sword of Time and Light. Cut. On the palm of the old man, a series of illusory runes condensed, and turned into 3 runes. The 3 runes condensed together, and turned into a long sword. Cut down in the air. Chapter 144, Yuhua Tower, Past Events. Swish. A sword cuts off the years, and the years make people old. Xuanji's footsteps flashed, trying to avoid the sword. But he found that he couldn't dodge it at all. Puff. A sword cut on the body, and suddenly 3 illusory runes dissipated. The power of time was added to the body, cutting off the years of the monks, cutting off the life of the monks. Suddenly, Xuanji felt that his life was passing away. 1 breath was a month of life. 1 minute was a year of life. Life was decreasing, and death was approaching little by little. At most 2 hours, life would be exhausted and die. "Young man, I ask you, what is Tao?" the old man said indifferently. "You said that you are Tao. If you talk big, you will pay a heavy price. You only have 2 hours. Within 2 hours, condense 3 runes of time and you can enter the 7th level." Xuanji was silent, and began to comprehend the Sword of Time Flowing Light. This supreme magical power, the core rune of time, requires extremely high comprehension. Among the Great 5 Element Yin Yang Yuan Magnetic Universe Extinction Divine Sword, the U represents space, and the Zhao represents time. At the beginning, I use the mobile phone to deduce and analyze and decompose a great magical power, Great Universe Sword. However, I only comprehended a little at the beginning, and did not practice it, because I was greedy, and could not digest it. Now, in order to pass the level, I must learn Time Flowing Sword. Xuanji's mind was fluctuating. Great Universe Sword and Time Flowing Sword are both time-related magical powers. They are similar, and have something to communicate with each other. Great Universe Sword focuses on time acceleration, making the sword faster. Time Flowing Sword, on the other hand, focuses on time acceleration, wearing away the enemy's lifespan. A time symbol involves 108 strokes. Swish. After just a moment of contemplation, Xuanji used his divine thoughts as a pen, his true essence as ink, and his Danshan as paper, to carve the time symbol. 1 minute, he finished carving a time symbol. Then, the second time symbol, the third time symbol. But, after the 3 time symbols were carved, Xuanji took a breath slightly, and his soul was greatly damaged. The power of time that was wrapped around his body dissipated immediately, and his lifespan was no longer reduced. Time is supreme, space is king, that's all. Without invincible cultivation, how can time be supreme? Xuanji restrained his breath, stepped forward and said, "Senior, I passed this level." "Passed?" the old man said. "Rampant, but he has the capital to be rampant. Come on." The old man entered the light gate, and Lu Xuanji followed. His figure flashed and entered the 7th floor. The 7th floor seemed empty. The walls around were twisted and damaged, as if they had experienced a war and became dilapidated. In the center of the 7th floor, there was a large tripod. On the large tripod, dragon and phoenix runes were carved, flashing a trace of terrifying breath. In the past, this tower had 9 floors, and each floor was guarded by an incomparable treasure. Unfortunately, after the Great War, the 6 treasures of the millennium were destroyed one after another, leaving only 3 treasures. This tripod is called the Heaven Sacrifice Tripod, and it is used to worship the heavenly Dao. Once there was a disciple of the Yuhua sect who offered sacrifices to the tripod here, to worship the heavenly Dao. At that time, the heavenly Dao would give rewards that could be transformed into special physiques. As for what kind of physique it is, it depends on fate. The old man said, you can offer sacrifices to worship the heavenly Dao. Lu Xuanji fumbled around, but didn't find anything good. He took out a heaven repairing pill and threw it into the tripod. But the tripod was ringing, and the pill disappeared immediately, as if communicating with the great existence in the void. A moment later, a ball of light appeared in the void. It turned into a stream of light and entered his body. Lu Xuanji was shocked. At this moment, it was as if a flame was burning in his body. It was burning from the inside out. His internal organs, bones, meridians, blood, soul, etc. were all being tempered. His body was crackling, and black dirt was expelled. A red flame was burning on his body, and it looked like the god of fire. After a while, the flame dissipated. Lu Xuanji activated the spell, cleansed his body, and changed his clothes. Feeling his body, it seemed that there was not much change. His physique had not improved, his strength had not changed much, and his realm remained the same. Congratulations, you have achieved the pure Yang Dao body. The old man said, the pure Yang Dao body is one of the top Dao bodies, and it comes with the innate magical powers, pure Yang true fire, and dual cultivation bonus. It can activate the pure Yang true fire to attack, and can use the pure Yang true fire to quench the true essence, which also has a certain bonus for cultivation. If you have 2 days off, the speed will be a little faster. In the past, there was a little girl who got the immortal sword body here and gained unparalleled attack. You are lucky. Pure Yang Dao body, not bad. Lu Xuanji said, thank you for your guidance, senior. This has nothing to do with me. This is your destiny. The reward of heaven is very casual. Many times it depends on luck. You have good luck. The old man said, luck is elusive, but if a cultivator wants to succeed, he cannot do without luck. Now we enter the 2nd level. Let me ask you one more question. What is Tao? It was the same question again. After Lu Xuanji hesitated for a moment, he said directly, I'm Tao. Let me ask you one more question. What is Tao? The old man asked. I'm the Tao. Take my sword. When this sword strikes, your lifespan will be exhausted in an instant. The old man's aura changed, and the 18 time runes combined together to form a sword that was about to chop down. Swish. At this moment, Lu Xuanji urged the Yuanxi heavenly sword, but did not fire it. He said in a cold voice, the spirit of the weapon is dead. Senior is a residual soul. How much strength do you have left? Alas, you still saw through it. At this moment, the old man, who was originally imposing, suddenly lost his aura and no longer maintained his strength. Instead, he became listless, as if he could dissipate at any time. Lu Xuanji also put away his sword and asked vigilantly, the spirit of the weapon is dead. Who are you, senior? In that battle, the Yuhua tower suffered heavy damage, and the 9 great treasures in the tower were either completely destroyed or severely damaged. The spirit of the Yuhua tower was also killed. As for me, I'm just a trace of obsession with the spirit of the weapon, not even a remnant soul. Then the Yuhua tower fell into the ruins, and I fell into a deep sleep. I spent countless years in deep sleep until the ruins were broken and someone came to look for opportunities. The old man said, the Zhangzhou Jin family discovered the Yuhua tower when they were excavating the Yuhua ruins, but they had no time to sort out the harvest, and were besieged by powerful enemies, and the Jin family was wiped out. The female cultivator took the Yuhua tower and fled to the east wilderness. Chapter 145, Yuhuaman, 3 conditions. The old man spoke eloquently about the past. Lu Xuanji listened carefully, but he held the Lihua sword tightly in his hand without relaxing at all. The old man sensed all of this, smiled faintly, and continued. That female cultivator was none other than Xuanji, the only survivor of the Jin family, a family of incarnation of the spirit. Back then, the Jin family was at its peak, with 3 incarnations of the spirit, as many as 300 nascent souls, and thousands of golden cores. As for other low-level cultivators, they were countless. As for Xuanji, she is just an illegitimate daughter of the clan leader. The clan leader treated her very well, providing her with all kinds of resources. She was no less gifted than a legitimate daughter, but she could not be included in the family tree. But it was also because of this that Xuanji was lucky enough to escape with her life. The maid Long Xuan also fled with her. The maid Long Xuan has the blood of the dragon clan, so she is half human and half dragon. That year, she was escorted to the slave market for auction, and was bought by Xuanji to become a maid. Although they are master and servant, they are actually sisters. When she fled here, Xuanji was only 30 years old, a mere foundation building cultivator. But with the help of the Jin family's resources, she became a golden core at the age of 130. Xuanji entered the 7th floor and obtained the immortal sword body with the help of the heavenly sacrifice cauldron. At this point, the old man paused and said, "But I don't plan to let Yuhua Tower recognize her as the master." "Why?" Lu Xuanji asked. "Because of you." The old man said, "You have amazing comprehension. In terms of comprehension, few people can compare with you. In terms of luck, your luck is blue, but there is a hint of purple in the blue. In terms of aptitude, the 3 spiritual roots are a little inferior, but not long ago, you had the pure Yang Dao body, which made up for the shortcomings. You are the most suitable. As long as you agree to 3 conditions, you can inherit the legacy of my Yuhua sect." "What are the 3 conditions?" Lu Xuanji asked. "First, our Yuhua sect was destroyed by that great master, and even the Yuhua Tower was destroyed. This is the hatred of the extermination of the sect, and we must avenge it. If this person dies in the heavenly calamity, it's fine. If he ascends to the immortal world, you must kill this villain for Yuhua sect. Second, if you achieve the great power of refining emptiness, you can rebuild Yuhua sect, and bring glory to the sect. Third, remember to restrain the orphans of Yuhua sect." The old man said, with a look of decline in his expression. The Yuhua sect was very powerful in the past, but now only ruins are left, and there are still a few cultivators who remember the former Yuhua sect. "I refuse," Lu Xuanji said directly. "Excuse me, senior, who destroyed the Yuhua sect?" The old man sighed and said, "It's impossible to say." Lu Xuanji said, "Senior, you can't say it, then I will tell you. The Yuhua sect was destroyed by the Emperor of Samsara. At the beginning, the Emperor of Samsara was just a country boy, and he had a childhood sweetheart. It happened that an inner disciple of the Yuhua sect descended on that mountain village to test his spiritual roots. After the test, it was found that the Emperor of Samsara only had 5 spiritual roots. Because of his poor aptitude, he was directly abandoned. As for the girlfriend, she had a natural spiritual root and an incredible aptitude, so she was accepted by the disciples of the Yuhua sect. Because of the girlfriend's pleading, the Emperor of Samsara was also accepted into the Yuhua sect and became a menial disciple. The girlfriend directly became a true disciple of the Yuhua sect. After the Emperor of Samsara became a menial disciple, he lived a good life because of the care of his girlfriend. But one day, he found that his girlfriend had changed and became distant from her. If it was just that, it would be fine, but he discovered a cruel reality. His girlfriend was possessed by a senior from Yuhua sect. "My girlfriend is dead." In anger, the Emperor of Samsara left Yuhua sect. No one cared about him at that time. He was just one more casual cultivator in the world, and soon there would be one more corpse on the road of cultivation. However, who would have thought that only 300 years later, a demon sect emperor would rise up, with only the cultivation of Hideo, and kill Yuhua sect. Even though Yuhua sect was full of masters and strong men, they were all slaughtered. Yuhua sect, which was known as the #1 sect of the immortal way, was directly wiped out. Yuhua mountain range turned into ruins. At this point, Lu Xuanji said, "The Emperor of Samsara has already ascended to the immortal world, and he may be even more powerful now." I must have a cramp in my head to oppose the Emperor of Samsara. Joining Yuhua sect for some small benefits is a big loss. Only a fool would join the GUO party in 1949. How do you know about the feud between the Emperor of Samsara and the Yuhua sect? This is very secretive. How could a cultivator in a remote area of the eastern wilderness know about it? The old man questioned, feeling vaguely out of control. I really don't know the secrets of these top masters. Xuanji nodded directly and admitted his ignorance. But on the first floor of Shuai Cave Heaven, there are a lot of miscellaneous books, notes, etc. Many cultivators enter the library, mainly to look for secret manuals and magical powers, but I like to read some miscellaneous books. Among the miscellaneous books, there is a note of a foundation building cultivator. That foundation building cultivator seems to be a fan of the Emperor of Samsara. He worships this emperor to the extreme and describes the life of the Emperor of Samsara in his notes. By the way, that foundation building cultivator is also an inner disciple of the Yuhua sect. It was from this note that I guessed some details and inside stories of the Yuhua sect. Alas. The old man said, the Yuhua tower is damaged, but there are still the heaven sacrificing cauldron, the pure lotus platform, and the Yuanjiang ruler inside. The heaven sacrificing cauldron can not only be used to communicate with the way of heaven, but also to refine pills and cross-level pills. For example, a giant cultivator can only refine 4th grade pills, but with the help of the heaven sacrificing cauldron, he can refine 5th grade pills. The heavenly sacrifice cauldron can also be used as a heavy weapon to attack and kill the enemy. The green lotus platform is mainly used for auxiliary purposes. It can avoid and crack various illusion attacks and can clear the mind and drive away the inner demons. The Yuanjiang ruler is a supreme attack treasure. A giant cultivator can kill a Yuanjiang with it. It can also activate the space formation in it and teleport away, avoiding the interception of most space spiritual treasures. It can be said to be a supreme escape treasure. I also have a volume of Yuhua Fisheng Sutra, which contains 8 volumes of exercises, which can be practiced all the way to the peak of Hedao. There are also 3 supreme magical powers, 18 major magical powers, and 108 minor magical powers. The heritage of the former number 1 sect of the immortal path has all fallen into my hands. There is also the supreme spiritual rice Langaya rice. The Beiyang rice and Jade Emperor rice circulating on the market are just castrated versions of Langaya rice. Real Langaya rice requires 5-color soil as soil and thunder as fertilizer. Mature Langaya rice is also very beneficial for giant cultivators and Yuanjiang's engine. As long as you agree to the 3 conditions, all of these will belong to you. With these, you can establish a great sect of immortal cultivation, and becoming an immortal is not a problem. The old man spoke slowly, and there was an indescribable temptation in his words. Xuanji listened, and couldn't help but be moved. But it was just a heartbeat, and he said lightly, what a sweet bait. I want to eat it just by smelling it, but it's a pity that under the bait, there is a deadly hook. Senior, are you planning to take over my body? As he said this, there was a hint of murderous intent in his words. Chapter 146, Encountering the Possession Again. On the 7th floor of the pagoda, Xuanji held the Lihuo sword in his hand and spoke indifferently. What do you mean? The old man said. Why are you hostile to me everywhere? Really? Xuanji said calmly. On the road of cultivation, you will encounter various adventures and opportunities. The greater the opportunity, the greater the future achievement. Many cultivators will encounter some caves of seniors outside. But those seniors will not directly give benefits and treasures, but traps and kill people at every step. Choose me as a successor, and inherit the Yuhua sect. Why not take over my body, and live a new life? Senior, are you planning to take over my body? The old man's eyes flashed with surprise, but he was still curious and asked, how do you know that I will take over your body? I was just lying. I didn't expect the senior to admit it. Xuanji smiled. You, young man, are cautious, but the ending is already doomed. The old man smiled and said, between life and death, there is a great fear. I once thought that I could look down on life and death, but when I really faced death, I was afraid. Originally, I wanted to possess Xuanji, but she is a giant cultivator, and the failure rate of possession is too high. Fortunately, God has been kind to me and sent you. "Sir, are you so sure that you can succeed in possessing my body?" Xuanji said, "In the world of cultivation, there are 5 iron laws of possession, which are very unfriendly to the cultivators who possess bodies. Besides, I'm a foundation building cultivator, and my soul is condensed. Even if you possess me, your soul and body are not compatible, and it will be difficult to achieve the great way. Just now, the heaven sacrifice cauldron transformed your physique, and transformed your physique into a pure yang Taoist body. Of course, it is of great benefit to you, but it also allows my soul and body to perfectly fit after I possess my body, and that trace of estrangement is completely eliminated." At this point, the old man said with a ferocious expression, "Junior, please help me." As he spoke, he turned into a stream of light and rushed towards Xuanji. Xuanji urged the secret technique to intercept, but his body was imprisoned. It was difficult to move. At this moment, the old man burst out, and the nascent soul brush burst out. In an instant, a stream of light entered the center of his eyebrows. The soul was trembling, and Xuanji felt that his soul was in severe pain. A strange soul was devouring the essence of his soul. It seemed that in a moment, he would disappear. During the virus invasion, should I turn on the antivirus? Turn on, or not? Turn on. Xuanji muttered in his heart. But, at this moment, the phone rang and began to remove the virus. "What is this? Why do you have a soul treasure? I will fight to the death." "Damn, it's just a second grade magic weapon. Why is it so weird?" The old man struggled and shouted, with a flash of anger and unwillingness in his eyes. In despair, he walked towards destruction. But, the phone was purifying, and the pure soul origins were improving. The strength of the soul was improving, and the level of the spiritual roots was improving. At first, Xuanji only had 3 spiritual roots, and his qualifications were not top-notch. But after Lu Fuming failed to seize the body, the soul origin nourished the soul, and strengthened the origin, and the level of the spiritual roots was improved to 2nd spiritual root superior. At this time, the soul origin of the old man was digested again, and the level of the spiritual roots was improved again to 2nd spiritual root excellent. At the same time, a memory was transmitted. A picture came. In the void, an immortal was forging a magic weapon. After tempering for 81 years, a pagoda was formed. This tower is called the Feathering Tower. 9 magic weapons were forged, namely the Demon Slaying Sword, the Demon Slaying Knife, the Heavenly Star Plate, the Mingwang Axe, the Xiang Lamp, the Preaching Monument, the Heavenly Sacrifice Cauldron, the Pure Lotus Platform, and the Yuanyang Ruler. And the 9 great treasures were placed on each floor of the Feathering Tower. At the same time, the Feathering Tower spirit was born. The spirit was named Xuanjin. When Xuanjin was just born, he had the cultivation of head AO. Then, another picture appeared. In the picture, a man in yellow robes appeared, with a hexagonal wheel rotating above his head. The Yuhua Tower flew out, and suppressed the man in yellow robes. The man in yellow robes pointed his finger, and the wheel of reincarnation and the Yuhua Tower collided. Crack. Suddenly, the Yuhua Tower suffered a heavy blow and almost collapsed. The original spirit of the weapon was directly destroyed. Swish. One picture after another, broken and fragmented memories flashed. La. Reading Xuanjin's memory, Xuanji said speechlessly. 9 out of 10 sentences of Xuanjin's words were false, and used to deceive people. The blow of the wheel of reincarnation had wiped out 99% of the spirit of the Yuhua Tower spirit, and only a trace of the incomplete spirit was preserved in the heavenly cauldron to survive. The remaining trace of the residual soul is equivalent to the spirit of the peak of the Purple Mansion. At the beginning, Jin Liaozu broke through the formation, entered the 7th floor, and found the Heaven Sacrifice Cauldron, and with the help of the Heaven Sacrifice Cauldron, he forged the immortal sword body, which was considered a qualified object for possession, but it was a pity that Jin Liaozu was too strong. Yuanjin's trace of residual soul may not be able to take over the body, but instead become nutrients. In recent years, some sword servants have entered the 7th floor to forge their physiques. Yuanjin's residual soul gave up taking over the body. On the one hand, taking over a woman's body, a man becomes a woman, which is a bit nauseating and unbearable. On the other hand, those sword servants have average qualifications, and are not worthy of taking over. until Lu Xuanji came. On the one hand, he had a high level of comprehension, and he forged the pure Yang Dao body, which was a qualified physique for taking over the body. Many of what Yuan Jun said were false, or the disadvantages were not mentioned. It is true that you can get a special physique through the heaven sacrifice cauldron. There are only 2 disadvantages that are not mentioned. The first disadvantage is that obtaining a special physique is not created out of thin air, but it consumes half of your own luck and sacrifices it to the way of heaven. Adhering to the principle of equal exchange, those cultivators with strong luck will obtain a Taoist body, those with bad luck can obtain a spiritual body. As for those with worse luck, they may still be a mortal body. The second disadvantage is that it can only be used once every 10 years on average. Frequent use of the heaven sacrifice cauldron will also damage the origin of the cauldron. No wonder Jin Laozu's luck has turned bad recently. First, he was besieged by demon cultivators and returned injured. Then he was besieged by the 6 demon kings, and the golden crow demon king attacked him and returned seriously injured. Lu Xuanji suddenly thought of Jin Laozu. This Jin Laozu has had bad luck recently, and the result is that he often encounters unexpected disasters. Everything goes wrong, bad luck comes one after another. Even drinking cold water makes his teeth ache, and he has encountered death many times. He flipped through Yuan Jun's memories again, but many of them were incomplete. In his memory, the Yuhua Fisheng Sutra is incomplete. There are 8 volumes of exercises in it, and only 1 volume of the Xuanwu Sutra, which can only be cultivated to the level of transformation. The 3 supreme magical powers, 18 major magical powers, and 108 minor magical powers are all incomplete, and only the supreme magical power Time Flowing Light Sword is remembered. The Xuanwu Sutra can be cultivated all the way to the level of transformation, suitable for water spirit root cultivators and earth spirit root cultivators. It is not suitable for him to practice, but it also has a great reference value. He went forward to inspect the sacrificial cauldron, and found that there were terrible cracks on the cauldron, as if it was about to split completely. In that battle, the sacrificial cauldron was also severely damaged. There is no cultivator to repair the scars, and now it is on the verge of being scrapped. It can only be used twice at most, and then it will be broken into pieces. Even if it is not used, it can only last for 100 years at most, unless a 5th grade weapon refiner repairs it within 100 years. Entering the 8th floor, there is a green lotus platform on the 8th floor. Sitting on the pure lotus platform, one can avoid going astray and break all kinds of illusions. This is an auxiliary magic weapon with no attack power. It is precisely because it is not attacked that it is well preserved. It is the 9th floor again, where the Yuan Yang ruler is stored. However, this magic weapon is broken into 5 pieces and scattered on the ground, dim and without any light, and most of its spirituality has disappeared. Lu Xuanji picked up a fragment of the Yuan Yang ruler and slapped it hard, and it broke into pieces again. Time is the biggest enemy, decaying everything and destroying everything. Lu Xuanji sighed. With the passage of time, the monks will die. Even those magic weapons will decay. Liar, big liar. Lu Xuanji walked casually and suddenly found some crystals in front of him. Some strange things were sealed in the crystals. It looked like rice, but the grains were very large. Each rice grain was 3 feet, 3 inches and 3 centimeters long, and seemed to be a sword. This is dragon tooth rice. There are about 12 of them. Haha, this is going to be great. Lu Xuanji was delighted. He went forward to check, fearing that the dragon tooth rice would rot. The dragon tooth rice was sealed in a special crystal, frozen in time, without any signs of rot. Just tap it gently to open the seal and plant it. Chapter 147, 6th level of foundation building. After walking out of the moonlight cave, Lu Xuanji breathed a sigh of relief and arrived at the garden. Ancestor Jin was practicing. In the void, spiritual energy surged and entered his body through the acupuncture points. In the void, spiritual energy vortices appeared, forming a small spiritual energy storm. Lu Xuanji stood still. About half an hour later, Ancestor Jin finished practicing. He stood up and said, "What kind of physique did you get?" "Pure Yang Dao body." Lu Xuanji said. "Not a bad physique, one of the 9 Dao bodies, and you can expect to become a god in the future." Ancestor Jin was very satisfied. "I made a bet with Xuana, but I won in the end." Ancestor, dismiss the people around and seal the cave. I want to tell you something secret. Xuanji said. Okay, wait a moment. Ancestor Jin waved his hand, opened the formation, sealed the space and said, the formation has been opened here. Everything is sealed, and nothing can be detected from the outside. Ancestor, this is for you. Xuanji said, taking out a lotus platform in his hand, and handing it over. This is a magic weapon, but since it is your chance, I will not force it. A mere 4th grade spiritual treasure is not very useful to me. Jin Liaozu said of course. Ancestor, take a closer look. Xuanji waved his hand and threw it over. Jin Liaozu took it in his hand and didn't care at first, but after careful observation, he found that the Kinglian equipment was not simple. There were dense runes inside. The runes were combined together to form a series of restrictions, a total of 56 restrictions. This is a 7th grade spiritual treasure. Jin Liaozu's palms were trembling, as if he was dreaming. A 7th grade spiritual treasure requires a great master of refining emptiness to spend thousands of years to successfully refine it. Not to mention the difficulty of refining. The materials alone are difficult to find. When the Jin family was at its peak, there was no 7th grade spiritual treasure sitting in the palace. If the Jin family really had a 7th grade spiritual treasure sitting in the palace, they would not have suffered the disaster of extermination. Where did you get this? Jin Liaozu asked. I got the Yuhua Tower. A remnant soul failed to take over my body, but was swallowed by me instead. I got those memories and successfully entered the 8th floor, and got this spiritual treasure. Unfortunately, this spiritual treasure is called the Pure and Quiet Lotus Platform. It is mainly auxiliary, but not good at attacking and killing. Xuanji said, the ancestor has been kind to me. How can I take the ancestor's treasure? People can become bad, but they cannot have no bottom line. Playing with the Pure and Quiet Lotus Platform in his hand, the old ancestor Jin said solemnly, this is a 7th grade spiritual treasure, especially the auxiliary ones, which are even more difficult to find. Those top powerhouses control the killing magic power, and whether they have attacking magic weapons or not is not very useful. But auxiliary magic weapons are extremely difficult to find. This time, you have lost a lot. The green lotus is introverted, and the treasure is self-concealed. If you don't say it, I don't know it at all. People can deceive others, but they can never deceive themselves. Xuanji said. At that time, when he got the Pure and Quiet Lotus Platform, he also thought about directly occupying the Lotus Platform, but after thinking about it, he gave up, because he couldn't get over the hurdle in his heart. The 7th grade spiritual treasure is extremely valuable. For such a treasure, brothers will turn against each other, Taoist couples will turn against each other, and fathers and sons will turn against each other, but you gave it to me so easily. You are an outlier in the world of cultivation. Ancestor Jin sighed and accepted the Lotus Platform. With this Lotus Platform, when attacking the nascent soul to cross the tribulation, you can avoid the inner demons and increase the success rate by 2 levels. And this. Xuanji took out a dragon tooth rice and handed it over. This is dragon tooth rice. Ancestor Jin was surprised. Dragon tooth rice needs 5 color soil as soil and thunder as fertilizer. 5 color soil is the top soil material, which can be found after reaching the nascent soul stage. As for the thunder needed for the growth of dragon tooth rice, at least a 4th grade thunder type spiritual treasure is needed. For the time being, I can't grow dragon tooth rice. After reaching the nascent soul stage, I can try to grow it. Is there only 1 dragon tooth rice? There are 11 more. Xuanji said, but if it is unsealed, the dragon tooth rice cannot be preserved. Over time, the dragon tooth rice will decay. Can I enter the 8th and 9th floors? Ancestor Jin asked. Yes, this is a treasure formula. Xuanji said, reciting the treasure formula. Ancestor Jin listened to the treasure formula and sighed. If my Jin family could open the 8th and 9th floors back then, there would be no disaster of extermination. It's time, fate, and luck. Thinking of the destroyed family, he couldn't help but burst into tears. Back then, the Jin family didn't have the secret, so they could only rely on violence to split the 7th floor, but they were powerless to break the 8th floor, because breaking it by force would damage the Yuhua Tower. Over the years, she also wanted to open the 8th and 9th floors, but gradually her mind faded, and she directly used the Yuhua Tower as a library to store some books. This time, in order to thank Lu Xuanji, she directly let him enter the 7th floor. But who would have thought that Lu Xuanji not only broke the 8th and 9th floors, but also got the Pure Lotus platform and Dragon Tooth Rice. Without promising anything, she waved to let Lu Xuanji go down. After Lu Xuanji saluted, he retreated respectfully. No promise is the best promise. Thinking back to the ending of Yuhuaman and the ending of Zhang Xiaojin's family, I was palpitating. Yuhuaman, with top magic weapons and many masters, was wiped out by the Emperor of Samsara. Zhang Xiaojin's family was extremely powerful, with 3 gods of transformation, but was also wiped out, and only the old ancestor Jin escaped. Family extermination incidents happen all the time. Compared to these, what the Lu family had experienced was nothing at all. Suppressing the impetuousness in his heart, Lu Xuanji urged his mind and cut off these distracting thoughts with great concentration. Don't think, can't think, don't need to think. He is just a foundation building cultivator, and it is useless to think about the things of those top cultivators. In the cave, Lu Xuanji began to meditate and practice. Life returned to a boring and monotonous state. Every day, he inhaled and exhaled spiritual energy, refined it into true essence, tempered his body, and his cultivation was steadily improving. 6 years later, his aura fluctuated and entered the 6th level of foundation building. In terms of speed, it was 2 years earlier than expected. Calculating his age, he was already 115 years old. Looking in the mirror, there was still a teenager in the mirror. Unconsciously, he felt a little homesick and went to the garden to say goodbye to Jin Leozu. Can't stay? Jin Leozu smiled. Yes, I can't stay a little. My heart is a little confused and I miss home a little. Lu Xuanji said. Alas, your heart is not at peace at all. I originally thought that you would go down Xiang Mountain after you achieved the Dao of Zifu, but who would have thought that you could not stay there for less than 10 years. Ancestor Jin shook his head and said, being ruthless is not necessarily invincible, but being affectionate will inevitably lead to more concerns and more flaws. Forget it, you can go. Thank you, Ancestor. Lu Xuanji said respectfully, leaving Zishan and heading home. Xiang Mountain has beautiful mountains and rivers, and there are beautiful women to accompany you. But I just miss home. I feel a little homesick after being away from home for 10 years. Longzuan. At this time, Ancestor Jin's voice came. Longzuan appeared, graceful in white clothes, with an ethereal aura. Longzuan, he is not safe outside. As a protector, you should protect him for a while, until he becomes a Zifu cultivator. Ancestor Jin said. Miss, I understand. Longzuan nodded, and her figure flashed and disappeared. Chapter 148 Goodbye Beilinger. Walking down Xiang Mountain, Lu Xuanji activated his flying sword and headed for Changyuan Mountain. But, the flying sword flew in the air. After traveling for hundreds of miles, a gravity suddenly came from the ground. Lu Xuanji could not control himself, and fell to the ground. Bang! His feet landed on the ground, and dust flew. At this moment, a huge yin-yang diagram appeared in the sky, about 10 feet in size. On one side, it flashed the Taiyan key, which was rich in yin key. On the other side, it flashed the Taiyan key, which was extremely strong and yang. The yin-yang key, surrounded together, evolved the supreme mystery. Open. Lu Xuanji activated his true essence, and was about to escape. But the yin-yang diagram was running, and the yin-yang key surged, and turned into a restraining force. Suddenly, his true essence was suppressed, and he could not fly. He activated the magic, but the magic was also restrained, and could not be cast. Little brother, we meet again. At this moment, a foxy voice came, and a woman's figure appeared in front. This woman was none other than Beilinger. She wore a crown on her head, a scepter in her hand, and a dark golden robe on her body, like a majestic empress, like a giant who ruled a starfield. The aura on her body was even more suffocating and terrifying. Beilinger, you have indeed entered the Purple Mansion realm, Lu Xuanji said. Not long ago, he heard that this 7th princess had broken the shackles and entered the Purple Mansion Demon General. More than a decade ago, he could beat this 7th princess to tears. But now, he was beaten to tears. Purple Mansion cultivators also have differences in strength. If he met an ordinary Purple Mansion cultivator, Xuanji could still deal with him, but when he met a genius like Beilinger, there was no way he could do that. Beilinger smiled and said, "Little brother, you should go back and be my concubine." "Oh, that's not right. Your physique has changed." Beilinger seemed to smell something. She approached Xuanji and sniffed him up and down, as if she smelled something delicious. "What a nice smell. This is a pure Yangdao body. I'm so lucky. I caught a pure Yangdao body that hasn't grown up yet." She seemed to be extremely happy. Her four tails were raised, and she looked very happy. The pure Yangdao body is a great tonic for the Fox clan. If she was brought back to the palace and nourished day and night, and the yin and yang were harmonized, it might be possible to improve the potential of her bloodline and enter the realm of the Demon King soon. "Brother, I originally planned to take his essence and kill him and drain your blood. But now it seems that dying from taking your essence is too much of a loss. How about joining my Kinkyu clan?" A hint of excitement flashed in Beilinger's eyes. "How about becoming my Taoist partner? We in the Kinkyu clan are not short of beautiful women. I have several sisters, and I will introduce them to you. How about coming back to Kinkyu with me? Then, we can sleep together." "No." Xuanji refused. "Humans and demons cannot coexist. This is not up to you." Beilinger smiled and said, "The yin-yang diagram can isolate the outside world, and no one will be able to sense everything here. Brother, come back to Kinkyu with me, and enjoy 3 wives and 4 concubines. Wait 4 decades. When we give birth to children, the children will hug your thighs and call you daddy. See if you dare to run away from home, and see if you dare to kill your wife to prove your Taoism." Holding Xuanji, Beilinger was about to return to Kinkyu. "Wait a minute." Xuanji said. "Little brother, do you have anything else to say?" Beilinger smiled. "Wait a minute." Xuanji said. "Do I have anything else to say?" "Little brother, what else do you have to say?" Beilinger smiled. Xuanji shouted, "Help me." Beilinger smiled. "Little brother, don't shout. No one will save you." At this critical moment, a woman appeared in the void, waving her hands and slapping at her, her palms changing, attacking Beilinger. Beilinger fought back in panic, but was shaken away. Crack, crack. Suddenly, the restraints on Xuanji were opened. The yin-yang diagram pressing on his body flashed and fell into Beilinger's hands. Beilinger said solemnly, "Who are you?" "Longzuan." The woman in white spoke up, her expression cold. "This is a human race's territory. It's not something a mere demon king can interfere with. Aren't you afraid of dying here and the demon race losing a genius? You are a human, but you have the blood of the dragon race, half human and half dragon. You are considered a genius." Beilinger said coldly, "Do you want to interfere in my private affairs? Miss, you have to protect him. You can't take him away." Longzuan said, "Since you are protecting this kid, I won't take action today. But can you protect this kid for a lifetime?" Beilinger said. Her figure flashed, and she was about to leave. But at the moment of leaving, she activated the yin-yang diagram. Swish. Suddenly, the yin-yang key surged, freezing Longzuan for a moment. Beilinger grabbed Xuanji in an instant and activated her innate magical power, teleport, to disappear. 1 teleportation is 1,000 miles, and after 10 teleportations, it is 10,000 miles away. Beilinger was also exhausted by the continuous teleportation. She panted slightly and said, "Little brother, no one will come to save you now. Don't cry like that, smile. Come, give me a kiss." Beilinger smiled, pinched Xuanji's chin with her right hand, and teased, "When we return to Kinkyu, when we are on the bed, little brother will know the advantages of us Kinkyu women. Don't you Kinkyu people care about courtesy, righteousness, integrity, and shame?" Xuanji asked. "Courtesy, righteousness, integrity, what's the point?" Beilinger said disdainfully, "That's just the hypocrisy of humans, people who deceive themselves. We demons don't like to hide anything the most. If we like good things, we just grab them. If we can't grab them, we will work hard to improve our cultivation. Just like I like little brother, I just grabbed him. I don't need to care about anything at all. It's not good for us to be together without love," Xuanji advised. TSK. Baelinger said, "We demons don't need love, we just need to reproduce. When we have sex in bed, the offspring born will inherit our offspring and will definitely have the appearance of a demon king." Swish. At this moment, a sword energy appeared and slashed at Baelinger's body. Suddenly, Baelinger's body was cut in two. But there was no blood on the body, but it turned into a foxtail and fell to the ground. After a moment, the foxtail turned into mist and dissipated. At this time, a woman appeared in the void. It was Long Xuan. "Is she dead?" Lu Xuanji asked. Long Xuan flashed a trace of anger and said angrily, "It is said that the beauty of Qinkyu has a beauty that can topple a country, especially the 7th Princess Baelinger, who is a demon king. If you marry into Qinkyu, you can enjoy Baelinger's beautiful body and enjoy it every night. It seems that I shouldn't come and ruin your good things. Senior, is she dead?" Lu Xuanji didn't explain anything. Many times, explanations are redundant, but he asked directly. "No." Long Xuan suppressed her anger and said calmly, "After Baelinger advanced to the Purple Mansion, she grew a fourth tail and awakened her fourth innate magical power doppelganger. We just killed Baelinger's clone. Baelinger has a demonic talent and has awakened 4 innate magical powers: charm, teleport, death substitution, and doppelganger. These 4 magical powers can evolve into supreme magical powers as long as they continue to grow. As long as the demons awaken their bloodline, they can automatically derive magical powers. But we human cultivators have to practice hard to learn magical powers, and we have to go through the stages of entry: small success, great success, and perfection. We are not as good as the demons." Chapter 149 Qinkyu Mountain, Homecoming. Outside the mountains and wilds, Long Xuan said worriedly, "The human race is not as good as the demon race. First of all, in reproduction, the demon race's fertility rate is far higher than that of the human race, and a large number of demons are born every year. Similarly, a large number of wild races give birth to spirituality and transform into demon beasts. Secondly, the demon race relies mainly on blood inheritance. As long as the blood is awakened, the innate magical power can be born, but human cultivators have to constantly practice magical powers before they can master them. The demon race has many advantages, all of which are above the human race." "Haha senior, you worry too much," Lu Xuanji said. "The demon race is just the name of our human race. In fact, there has never been a demon race, only the myriad races. Dragons do not live with snakes, and phoenixes do not live with birds. Many races are different and hostile to each other. They fight constantly, and even the Demon King Palace cannot stop it. Because the human race is strong, some races are forced to join forces to fight against the human race, so there is the saying of the demon race. The demon race has geniuses, and the human race also has geniuses. Today I lost to Baelinger, and was almost courting Qinkyu as a son-in-law. When I become stronger in the future, I will definitely go to Qinkyu and capture her as a concubine. Don't brag, don't die on the way." Long Xuan said indifferently and disappeared. Lu Xuanji opened the map, and was about to determine the direction, but he found a light spot flashing on it. He kept zooming in, and found that Long Xuan was hidden less than 3 meters away from him. Like a guard, she was protecting him. After determining the direction, he walked towards Changyuan Mountain. Long Xuan hid behind him and followed closely. After entering Changyuan Mountain, Long Xuan looked from a distance, but did not go in, and stayed outside Changyuan Mountain. Long Xuan, become my protector. This must be the order of Jin Leozu. Lu Xuanji felt a trace of gratitude. Long Xuan is a half-step giant and cultivator, but only Jin Leozu could ask a half-step giant and cultivator to be a protector. Deep in the 100,000 mountains. The mountains are one after another, stretching for 3,000 miles. The peaks are scattered among each other, with lakes mixed in, waterfalls sloping down, volcanic hot springs boiling, and cranes flying. In the mountains, there are women playing and frolicking. There are also some fierce beasts roaming among them, but when they meet some women, they become very well behaved. In some peaks, there is a terrifying aura, looming, as if a giant beast is dormant. In the northwest of the mountains, there is a valley. In the valley, there is a bamboo house, which has beds, tables, chairs, benches, tea sets, etc. It is simple and unique. In front of the bamboo house, there is a lake, as clear as a mirror, with rippling water and clear green water plants. Splash, splash. Along with the sound of water, there is a woman who looks like a fish, swimming in the water. With a crisp sound, the woman jumped out and landed on the ground. The graceful body of white jade is tall and plump, and the ruddy face is full of charm and seductiveness. The long and pointed eyelashes trembled slightly. The dress was put on her body while waving her hand. She lay casually on the rocking chair and closed her eyes, as if thinking about something. Suddenly, she opened her eyes, and a trace of regret flashed in her eyes. The clone failed and was killed by Longzuan. It's a pity that Lu Xuanji was not brought back to King Qiu. Bailinga said, her words full of regret. He has a chance, and he has condensed a pure Yang Dao body. This is a great chance. Sensing the news from the clone, Bailinga rubbed her legs subconsciously. Her body was a little damp, her face was slightly flushed, and she was slightly excited. Humans fall in love with their eyes. When they choose their other half, they often choose with their eyes. They will only get together if they meet their own aesthetic standards. First of all, they must please their eyes. But it's not the same for the Qiu lineage. The Qiu lineage falls in love with their noses. When they first met, she smelled a charming scent on Lu Xuanji, so she used her innate magical power, charm, in front of this human, wanting to accept him and become his concubine. Unfortunately, she was defeated by this little brother. After entering the Purple Mansion Demon General, he sent a clone to capture him. The clone smelled a more charming scent, which was stronger than the last time. Just smelling it, his hands and feet became weak, his face flushed, his heart beat wildly, and even his magical power was subconsciously slowed down by a beat. It was like fine wine, intoxicating. Like poison, knowing the danger, you still have to get close. Little brother, wait until I become the Golden Core Demon King, and I will definitely capture you to King Qiu as my son-in-law. Bailinga thought about this, and couldn't help but smile. From then on, she had another goal in her life. Now, she has two goals in life. One is to become the Demon King of King Qiu, and become one of the giants of the 100,000 mountains. The other is to invade the human race, capture Lu Xuanji, and bring him back to King Qiu as his son-in-law. It has been about 8 years since I left Changyuan Mountain. When I came back here again, I felt a little strange. When I didn't go home, I felt a little homesick, but when I returned home, I felt a little alienated. Father, mother, I'm back. When he arrived at his parents' courtyard, Lu Xuanji shouted, and then several strangers came out and said, "Who are you?" "I'm sorry," Lu Xuanji said. Only then did he remember that his parents had been dead for more than 10 years. The courtyard in front of him also belonged to other cultivators of the Lu family. "I'm sorry," Lu Xuanji said, turned around and disappeared. His heart was empty. "Husband, who is outside?" Just then, a woman's voice came from the room. The man said, "It seems that the clan leader has gone to the wrong place." Leaving here, Lu Xuanji walked towards Changyuan Mountain and came to a cave in the center. This cave has the most abundant spiritual energy. Entering the cave, there are alchemy furnaces, chairs, tea sets, beds, etc., which are exquisite and elegant. The floor is covered with animal skins and the walls are made of warm jade. There is no dust here, and it seems to be cleaned frequently. Sitting upright on the bed, Lu Xuanji felt a little deserted. The soul felt a little lonely. The strength of a cultivator is not only strong in strength, but also strong in the soul. He has a strong soul. He is not surprised by praise or criticism, calm and composed, not afraid of risks, and can endure loneliness. But he can't stand loneliness. In the cave, he only closed himself off for 1 or 2 years, and then he had to go out for a walk. If he continued to close himself off, he would be restless, uneasy, and even possessed. In essence, he was a man of the world, not an ascetic monk. He could not stay in seclusion for 10 or 20 years without changing his mind, or being as firm as a rock. At this moment, the elder felt it and asked, "Why don't you stay in Xiang Mountain for a few more years?" "I miss home," Lu Xuanji said, "but when I return home, I feel lonely." "What loneliness? You are thinking about women." The elder laughed. "When Linglan comes to your house, you will not be lonely anymore." Chapter 150 Relaxing the restrictions on foundation building pills. In the cave, Xuanji did not respond, but asked, "Great Elder, how is the family doing recently?" "The family has been doing very well in recent years, very well," the Great Elder said. "Last year, the Lu family's income from shops, markets, spiritual medicines, spiritual rice, etc. reached 130,000 spiritual stones, but various expenses reached 150,000 spiritual stones. There is a fiscal deficit, but this is a small problem, and the debt will be paid off later." In the past 10 years, the Lu family has successively produced 8 foundation building cultivators, and another foundation building cultivator has passed away in the family, and 2 foundation building cultivators have fallen outside. Now the Lu family has 18 foundation building cultivators. They are Lu Xuanming, Lu Xuanling, Lu Xuaniu, Lu Xuanbei, Lu Xuanwen, Lu Daoling, Lu Daoming, Lu Daochu, Lu Daoyuan, Lu Daoshan, Lu Daowen, Lu Daowu, Lu Daoping, Lu Pingyan, Lu Pingan, Lu Pingchun, Lu Wenxiu, and Lu Wenming. The reason they can enter the foundation building stage is mainly because they have caught up with a good period. Because of the invasion of the beast tide, some immortal cultivation families were destroyed or declined. Our Lu family took the opportunity to step forward and divide up some property, and the family's industry expanded a lot. Because the beast tide has just ended, a large number of foundation building monsters were killed. Using the monster beasts in Akor as materials, a large number of foundation building pills were refined. The price of foundation building pills has dropped again and again, from 20,000 spirit stones to 8,000 spirit stones. Some foundation building pills are refined by our Lu family, some foundation building pills are purchased directly from outside. With the appearance of a large number of foundation building pills, you can buy foundation building pills at a low price and successfully build your foundation. Even if one doesn't work, then get another one. If that doesn't work, then get a third one. As long as you take 3 foundation building pills and your luck is not too bad, you can build your foundation. In the past 10 years, the family has purchased 23 foundation building pills, which cost the family about 200,000 spirit stones, but it also gave birth to 8 foundation building cultivators. Many older cultivators, many 4 spiritual root cultivators, are also eligible to take foundation building pills, and some cultivators have taken 3 in a row. "They are so lucky," said the elder, with a flash of envy. He envied these younger generations. When he was building his foundation, he did not have such good conditions. At most, he could only take 1 foundation building pill. As for the 4 spiritual root, if you want a foundation building pill, just dream about it. If you are over 60 years old, don't even think about it. Even if you want to apply for a foundation building pill, you have to rely on luck. Many times, you can only borrow part of the money from the family. But there are also many problems, because the unfair distribution of resources will lead to dissatisfaction among the cultivators of the family. It is not the scarcity of resources that is worrying, but the injustice, the elder said, pointing out a very serious problem. Just 20 years ago, when Lu Xuanji succeeded as a patriarch, he had a conflict with the elder because of the direction of the family's development. The elder advocated that the family should develop steadily, focus on cultivating 3 spiritual roots, and focus on this group of people. As for 4 spiritual roots and 5 spiritual roots, they only provide a minimum living allowance, as long as they don't starve to death. As for the exchange of foundation building pills, family loans, etc., don't even think about it. If there are no 3 spiritual roots cultivators, or if they are over the age limit, foundation building pills will not be provided. Those extra spirit stones will be stored at home as reserve funds, to supply those cultivators with excellent qualifications or to prevent unexpected events. Lu Xuanji advocated that, while the family development focuses on cultivating 3 spiritual roots, some 4 spiritual roots should also be cultivated. If the family has extra money, don't save it. The spirit stones are placed in the warehouse waiting to mold, or wait for the family to be destroyed and given to the enemy as trophies. Spirit stones should be spent. Only a small part of the spirit stones need to be saved every year, and the rest of the spirit stones should be spent to improve the cultivation of the clan members. The family should have a balanced income and expenditure, or even an appropriate fiscal deficit. The age limit for distributing foundation building pills was raised from 60 to 70 years old, and from 3 to 4 spiritual roots. If the family finances were sufficient, more foundation building pills could be purchased to allow those elderly cultivators or cultivators with 4 spiritual roots to take them. Because of this issue, the two had a violent conflict. At the beginning, the elder had the upper hand, but after Xuanji became a third-grade spiritual plant master and the son-in-law of the Yi family, Xuanji's opinion prevailed. But the elder still complained, "Xuanji, I know you are doing this for the good of the family, but some people are not worth training, or it takes a huge price to train them. Many times, it's not worth it. Like you, relax the age of issuing foundation building pills, from 60 to 70 years old, and from 3 spiritual roots to 4 spiritual roots. Many cultivators will be happy." The family also has 8 more foundation building cultivators because of the policies inside, but the family's expenses are also increasing. "Elder, stop complaining," Xuanji said. "I have counted the situation of the Lu family. There are only 3 cultivators with 3 spiritual roots in the key training realm. They are still young, and the highest one is only at the 5th level of key training. It will take at least 30 years to reach the 9th level of key training. Will the Lu family not buy foundation building pills for 30 years and directly save spirit stones and wait for 30 years? Those 4 spiritual roots cultivators with excellent skills still need to be trained. If one foundation building pill doesn't work, then get another one. If it still doesn't work, then get a third one. I can't do it. Some people have such bad luck. But if you do this, the family will lose money," said the elder. "We are a family of immortal cultivators, not a sect of immortal cultivators. We can't be too concerned about efficiency," Xuanji said. "Only when the blood relationship is close can there be cohesion. When the blood relationship is distant, the cohesion is also declining." The elder said, "Forget it, I'm too lazy to argue with you. Just relax the restrictions on foundation building pills, which will increase the family's expenses. The fiscal deficit has been in the works for 5 consecutive years. It doesn't matter, these are just small things," Xuanji said. "It doesn't matter if you are in debt, as long as your reputation is not broken. The problem is not big. According to my estimation, the chalcedony mushroom I planted will mature in 10 years at most. When it is on time, the income and expenditure will be balanced. I don't have a big problem, but the problem is you," the elder said. "Entering the purple mansion realm is more difficult than people imagine. It requires 4 kinds of pills, namely, pure yang pill, purple mansion pill, awakening pill, and nirvana pill. These pills require a total of 1 million spirit stones. You should also save some spirit stones for yourself to impact the purple mansion stage. Even after becoming a purple palace, if you want to improve your cultivation, you still need to spend a lot of spirit stones. You should stop caring too much about the family and be more selfish and consider yourself. The loosening of the foundation establishment pill restrictions will greatly benefit the lower level cultivators of the family, but for the cultivators who have already established their foundation, the benefits are small. For Xuanji, who is at the 6th level of the foundation establishment and has the hope of becoming a purple palace, the disadvantages are the greatest. This means that a large part of his income as a 3rd grade spirit plant master will be used to subsidize the family and provide blood transfusions to the family. End of this chapter. Thank you very much for reaching the end. Don't forget to like. Looking for more exclusive content and immediate access? Subscribe to our Patreon. Remember, every like, subscription, or donation encourages us to continue. Thanks to everyone. See you in the next video.